Blackbeard consuming 3 devil fruits through multiple souls trapped in a single body turned him into the most terrifying anomaly on the Grand Line. The Rocks Pirates' legendary crew getting destroyed at God Valley only because Whitebeard and Big Mom secretly betrayed their own captain in exchange for future Emperor status, Monkey D. Dragon controlling entire weather systems with mysterious powers that could reshape the world itself made him the most wanted criminal alive. And those are just 3 of the insane pirate crew theories in this video. Can you imagine all the mind-blowing stuff there is to uncover when we dive deep into 2 hours of the craziest pirate crew theories in One Piece over the next 2 hours? I was certainly shocked by some of the stuff I found when I made this video. So if you're ready to be blown away by what's about to come, sit back, relax, maybe grab some meat like Luffy, hopefully without the rubber side effects. Let's begin with the Blackbeard Pirates and the Triple Devil Fruit Theory. Marshall D. Teach, known worldwide as Blackbeard, broke one of the most fundamental rules in the One Piece world by eating 2 devil fruits and surviving. Now, mounting evidence suggests he's planning to shatter this rule even further by consuming a 3rd devil fruit, specifically a mythical Zoan type that would complete his collection of all 3 devil fruit categories. For over 20 years, One Piece fans believed that eating 2 devil fruits would kill anyone who tried it. This was stated as an absolute fact by CP9 agent Jabra during the Enies Lobby arc. The rule seemed simple: 1 person, 1 devil fruit, no exceptions. Then Blackbeard appeared at Marineford and changed everything. During the Summit War, after Whitebeard died from his injuries, Blackbeard and his crew covered the dying emperor with a black cloth. When they emerged, Blackbeard had somehow stolen Whitebeard's Gura Gura no Mi earthquake powers. He now possessed both his original Yami Yami no Mi darkness fruit and Whitebeard's devastating tremor abilities. This should have been impossible, yet there he stood, very much alive and twice as dangerous. The world watched in shock as Blackbeard demonstrated both powers. He created darkness with one hand while generating earthquakes with the other. Even the Marines and other pirates couldn't understand how he survived what should have been certain death. Marco the Phoenix, Whitebeard's former 1st Division commander, mentioned that Blackbeard's body is somehow different from normal people. This mysterious difference allows him to hold multiple devil fruit powers when others cannot. Ever since that moment at Marineford, fans have been trying to solve the mystery of Blackbeard's unique body. The clues have been building for years, hidden in plain sight throughout the series. One of the most important clues comes from Blackbeard's Jolly Roger flag. While most pirate flags feature a single skull, Blackbeard's flag shows 3 skulls side by side. In the One Piece world, Jolly Roger designs always have meaning related to the captain or crew. The number 3 appears constantly around Blackbeard. His ship has 3 masts instead of the usual 1 or 2. He carries 3 flintlock pistols on his belt. His beard is braided into 3 distinct sections. Even his full name, Marshall D. Teach, contains 3 parts. These details feel too specific to be coincidental, especially coming from author Eiichiro Oda, who plans every story element carefully. Another crucial piece of evidence appeared much later in the series. During the post-Wano events, Blackbeard traveled to Amazon Lily to capture Boa Hancock. He specifically wanted her Mero Mero no Mi Love Love fruit power. This seems strange because every member of the Blackbeard Pirates already has a devil fruit. If the fruit was meant for one of his crew members, they would have had to give up their current powers first. The only logical explanation is that Blackbeard wanted Hancock's fruit for himself. The timing of this attack also supports the theory. Blackbeard only moved against Hancock after the world government abolished the 7 Warlords system, making her vulnerable. He could have targeted her years earlier if he wanted her fruit for a crew member. Instead, he waited until the perfect moment to claim a 3rd power for himself. There are also 3 main categories of devil fruits in the One Piece world: Logia, Paramecia, and Zoan types. Blackbeard currently has the strongest Logia fruit Yami, Yami no Mi, and the strongest Paramecia fruit, Gura Gura no Mi. Following this pattern, fans believe he will claim the strongest available Zoan fruit to complete his collection. The most popular theory about Blackbeard's 3rd devil fruit centers on a mythical Zoan called the Dog fruit model Cerberus. Cerberus is the 3-headed dog from Greek mythology that guards the entrance to the underworld. This theory perfectly explains why Blackbeard can eat multiple devil fruits while others cannot. According to this theory, Blackbeard actually ate the Cerberus fruit first before he joined the Whitebeard Pirates. The Cerberus has 3 heads, and each head can think independently. This means Blackbeard essentially has 3 separate consciousnesses in one body. allowing each head to host a different devil fruit power. The first head holds the Cerberus ability, the second gained the Yami Yami no Mi, and the third acquired the Gura Gura no Mi. This explains several mysterious moments from earlier in the series. When Luffy and Zoro first met Blackbeard in Mocktown, they made a strange comment after he left. Nami asked if they should talk to him about Sky Island, and both Luffy and Zoro said it's not just one guy. At the time, this seemed like a throwaway line, but it takes on new meaning if Blackbeard literally has multiple personalities or souls. The Cerberus theory also explains why Blackbeard never seems to sleep. During his time on Whitebeard's ship, other crew members mentioned that they had never seen Teach sleep. If he has 3 heads with independent thought, one could stay awake while the others rest. This would give him a massive advantage in both combat and planning. Marco's comment about Blackbeard having an unusual body structure supports this theory as well. A body designed to house 3 separate consciousnesses would definitely be different from a normal human. The Cerberus fruit would have fundamentally changed Blackbeard's biology from the moment he ate it. Some fans point to other possibilities for Blackbeard's third fruit. The octopus theory suggests he has multiple hearts like an octopus, with each heart supporting a different devil fruit. Others believe he might target Marco's Phoenix fruit for its regeneration abilities, or even Sengoku's Buddha fruit for its incredible power. However, the Cerberus theory remains the most popular because it elegantly explains both his current abilities and the symbolism surrounding his character. The evidence for a third devil fruit extends beyond theories into concrete story events. Blackbeard's failed attempt to capture Hancock shows he's actively hunting for more powers. His crew's practice of killing devil fruit users to steal their abilities suggests a systematic approach to power collection. They're not randomly attacking people, they're building an arsenal of the strongest possible abilities. If Blackbeard successfully obtains a third devil fruit, the balance of power in the One Piece world would shift dramatically. He already stands as one of the 4 emperors with just 2 abilities. Adding a powerful Zoan fruit would make him nearly unstoppable in direct combat. The implications go beyond just raw power. Zoan fruits enhance physical abilities like strength, speed, and durability. Combined with his Logia intangibility and Paramecia destruction, Blackbeard would have offensive, defensive, and physical enhancement abilities, all in one package. No other character in the series possesses such a complete skill set. This development would force other major players to respond. The remaining emperors would need to form alliances or seek new powers to compete. The world government might have to deploy their strongest weapons, including the mysterious, ancient weapons or the full power of the Marine Admirals. Even Luffy, despite his recent growth, would face his greatest challenge yet. The psychological impact would be equally important. Blackbeard already inspires fear among pirates and Marines alike. Demonstrating the ability to use 3 devil fruits simultaneously would cement his reputation as the most dangerous pirate alive. It would also validate his crew's belief that their captain is destined to rule the world. Other devil fruit users would become targets for Blackbeard's power hunting expeditions. No one with a valuable ability would be safe from his crew's attention. This would create a climate of fear and paranoia throughout the Grand Line, as powerful individuals would need constant protection from Blackbeard's forces. The revelation of Blackbeard's third devil fruit would reshape how fans understand devil fruit mechanics entirely. For over 2 decades, readers believed the 1 fruit per person rule was absolute. Blackbeard's dual abilities already challenged this assumption. A third fruit would completely rewrite the established laws of the One Piece world. This development would also impact the final war that many fans expect. Blackbeard is being set up as one of Luffy's ultimate opponents, possibly the final villain of the entire series. If he possesses 3 devil fruit powers, the final battle would require unprecedented teamwork between Luffy's allies. The Straw Hat Grand Fleet, Revolutionary Army, and other friendly forces might need to combine their strength to have any chance against such overwhelming power. The thematic implications are equally significant. One Piece often explores themes of friendship, teamwork, and earned strength versus stolen power. Blackbeard represents the opposite of Luffy's values. While Luffy grows stronger through training and bonds with his crew, Blackbeard steals abilities from others. A third stolen devil fruit would make this contrast even starker. From a storytelling perspective, giving Blackbeard 3 devil fruits would create the perfect final challenge for Luffy. The protagonist would need to overcome someone who has more raw power than him through clever tactics, strong allies, and unwavering determination. This setup fits perfectly with One Piece's core message that friendship and perseverance can overcome any obstacle. The number symbolism would also reach completion with 3 devil fruits. Blackbeard's obsession with the number 3 would finally make perfect sense. His 3 skulls, 3 ship's masts, 3 pistols, and 3 beard braids would all connect to his 3 devil fruit powers. Oda's attention to symbolic details suggests this revelation has been planned for years. If the Cerberus theory proves correct, it would also explain other mysteries about Blackbeard's past. How did he know the Yami Yami no Mi would appear on Thatch's ship? How did he develop such an elaborate plan to steal Whitebeard's power? Having multiple consciousnesses would allow for more complex long-term planning than a single mind could achieve. The impact on the broader One Piece community would be enormous. Fans have been debating Blackbeard's abilities for over a decade. A third devil fruit reveal would vindicate theorists who predicted this development while surprising those who thought 2 fruits were his limit. The revelation would generate countless discussions, analyses, and new theories about what this means for the story's conclusion. Marshall D. Teach, better known as Blackbeard, has already broken the fundamental rule of devil fruits by successfully eating 2 without dying: the darkness-based Yami Yami no Mi and Whitebeard's earthquake-generating Gura Gura no Mi. Now, overwhelming evidence suggests he's planning to claim a third devil fruit power, likely a mythical Zoan type like the Cerberus fruit. The number 3 appears constantly in Blackbeard's design, from his 3-skull Jolly Roger to his 3-braided beard, and his recent attempt to steal Boa Hancock's powers shows he's still actively hunting devil fruit abilities. The popular Cerberus theory suggests Blackbeard's unusual body houses 3 separate consciousnesses, each capable of holding a different devil fruit power, which would explain how he survives what should be impossible and why he never appears to sleep. If Blackbeard obtains a third devil fruit, combining Logia, Paramecia, and Zoan abilities, he would become the most powerful individual in One Piece history and present an unprecedented threat that would require the combined efforts of all Luffy's allies to defeat in the final war. Before we move on, make sure to subscribe if you're enjoying this breakdown. Moving on, we have Blackbeard's multiple bodies divided by souls theory. Marshall D. Teach's ability to wield 2 devil fruit powers simultaneously has sparked one of the most enduring mysteries in One Piece: the multiple bodies divided by souls theory. This theory suggests that Blackbeard possesses either multiple personalities, multiple souls housed within one body, or a fundamentally different physical structure that allows him to bypass the natural law, preventing people from eating more than 1 devil fruit without dying. The foundation of this theory stems from the absolute nature of the devil fruit limitation established early in One Piece. Throughout the series, characters repeatedly state that eating 2 devil fruits will cause a person's body to explode from the conflicting powers. This rule appeared to be universal and unbreakable, supported by centuries of pirate history, with no known exceptions. The scientific explanation given in the series suggests that each devil fruit contains a unique devil that grants supernatural abilities. When someone eats a devil fruit, this devil takes residence in their body. The theory goes that 2 devils cannot coexist in the same space, leading to internal conflict that destroys the host. This explanation made Blackbeard's dual abilities seem impossible, according to established One Piece logic. Before Blackbeard's reveal at Marineford, the closest anyone came to multiple devil fruit powers was through external means. Dr. Vegapunk learned how to feed devil fruits to inanimate objects like swords and cannons. Caesar Clown could create artificial devil fruits with limited success. However, no human had ever successfully consumed 2 natural devil fruits and survived until Blackbeard appeared. The first hints that something was unusual about Blackbeard came long before his power theft at Marineford. During his time as a member of the Whitebeard Pirates, fellow crew members noted several strange behaviors. Most notably, they mentioned that Blackbeard never seemed to sleep. While this could be explained by insomnia or dedication to his duties, it becomes more significant when viewed through the lens of multiple personalities or souls. Another early clue appeared during Blackbeard's encounter with Luffy and Zoro in Mocktown on Jaya. After Blackbeard left the bar, both Luffy and Zoro made a cryptic comment about him not being just one guy. At the time, this seemed like an offhand observation about his crew being nearby. However, fans now interpret this as Luffy and Zoro's instinctive recognition that something fundamental was different about Blackbeard as an individual. The mystery deepened when Marco the Phoenix, Whitebeard's former 1st Division commander, provided the first direct confirmation that Blackbeard's body is abnormal. During the Marineford War, Marco stated that Blackbeard has an atypical body structure that explains his ability to hold multiple devil fruit powers. This official acknowledgement from a knowledgeable character gave credibility to theories about Blackbeard's unusual nature. The multiple bodies divided by souls theory gained momentum as fans began connecting various pieces of evidence scattered throughout the series. One of the most compelling pieces comes from real-world inspiration behind Blackbeard's character. Eiichiro Oda based Marshall D. Teach on the historical pirate Edward Teach, known as Blackbeard. However, in One Piece, the historical Blackbeard's identity was split among three different characters: Marshall D. Teach, Blackbeard, Edward Newgate, Whitebeard, and Thatch the Whitebeard Pirates' 4th Division commander, whom Blackbeard murdered. This split suggests that Oda intentionally divided the historical Blackbeard into three people, which could foreshadow the reverse situation where One Piece's Blackbeard combines three personalities or souls into one body. The connection becomes even more intriguing when considering that Blackbeard killed Thatch to steal his devil fruit, symbolically reclaiming 1/3 of his historical identity. The theory proposes several possible explanations for Blackbeard's multiple souls or personalities. The first suggests he was born with a rare condition that allowed multiple souls to inhabit his body. This could be similar to the phenomenon of conjoined twins, but on a spiritual level rather than physical. Each soul could potentially host a different devil fruit power without conflicting with the others. Another variation of the theory proposes that Blackbeard underwent some kind of procedure or encountered a supernatural event that split his soul or created additional personalities. This could explain why his abnormal condition wasn't apparent from birth but developed over time. Some fans speculate this might be connected to his knowledge of devil fruit mechanics, suggesting he discovered a way to artificially create the conditions needed for multiple devil fruit consumption. The conjoined twins theory represents a more physical interpretation. This version suggests that Blackbeard absorbed his twin brother in the womb, a real medical condition called fetus in fetu. This would give him additional organs, possibly including extra hearts or brains, that could each support a different devil fruit. The theory draws support from Blackbeard's unusually large size and proportions, which could indicate an abnormal body structure. Evidence from Blackbeard's behavior patterns supports the multiple personalities aspect of the theory. Fans have noted that his personality seems to shift between different extremes. Sometimes he appears cowardly and cautious, while other times he displays reckless confidence. His speech patterns and mannerisms also vary between encounters, though this could be attributed to his calculating nature rather than multiple personalities. The timing of when Blackbeard reveals different aspects of his personality correlates with his devil fruit acquisitions. Before obtaining any devil fruit, he was patient and methodical during his decades with the Whitebeard Pirates. After gaining the Yami Yami no Mi, he became more aggressive and ambitious. Following his acquisition of the Gura Gura no Mi, his confidence and willingness to take risks increased dramatically. The exact method Marshall D. Teach uses to steal devil fruit powers from other users remains one of One Piece's darkest unsolved mysteries. Two primary theories have emerged from fan analysis and story evidence. The cannibalism theory, which suggests Blackbeard literally consumes parts of devil fruit users to gain their abilities, and the Yami Yami no Mi absorption theory, which proposes his darkness fruit has unique properties that allow him to extract and absorb devil fruit powers directly from living or recently deceased users. Contextual overview: the mystery of Blackbeard's devil fruit hunting method began during his time as a member of the Whitebeard Pirates. For decades, Marshall D. Teach served loyally under Edward Newgate, waiting patiently for one specific opportunity. When Thatch, the 4th Division commander, discovered the Yami Yami no Mi devil fruit, Blackbeard murdered his crewmate in cold blood and stole the fruit. This betrayal marked the beginning of his systematic hunt for devil fruit powers. What made Blackbeard's actions particularly shocking was his deep knowledge of devil fruit mechanics. Most pirates stumble upon devil fruits by accident or purchase them from dealers. Blackbeard actively sought out the Yami Yami no Mi specifically, suggesting he understood its unique properties long before eating it. His patient, decades-long wait indicates this wasn't a random decision, but part of a carefully planned strategy. The first major demonstration of Blackbeard's power extraction abilities occurred at Marineford during the Summit War. After Whitebeard died from his injuries sustained during the battle, Blackbeard and his crew approached the fallen Emperor's body. They covered Whitebeard with a large black cloth, hiding whatever process they used from the watching Marines and pirates. When they emerged, Blackbeard had somehow acquired Whitebeard's Gura Gura no Mi earthquake powers. This moment established several crucial facts about Blackbeard's method. First, he can extract devil fruit powers from recently deceased users, as Whitebeard had only just died moments before. Second, the process requires some form of physical interaction with the body, explaining why they needed to cover Whitebeard completely. Third, the extraction happens quickly, taking only the few minutes they were hidden under the cloth. The secrecy surrounding the process suggests it involves something disturbing or forbidden. If the method were simple or acceptable, there would be no need to hide it from witnesses. The fact that even Blackbeard's own crew members seemed unsettled by the process implies it crosses moral boundaries that even hardened pirates find uncomfortable. After Marineford, the Blackbeard pirates began actively hunting devil fruit users across the New World. Unlike other pirate crews who might capture devil fruit users for ransom or recruitment, the Blackbeard pirates specifically target them for elimination. They show no interest in keeping these users alive, suggesting their method requires the user's death to work properly. The cannibalism theory gained credibility through connections to other One Piece characters and real-world pirate history. The most compelling evidence comes from Charlotte Linlin, better known as Big Mom, and her childhood tragedy. During her 6th birthday party, young Linlin experienced a hunger episode and apparently consumed her caretaker, Mother Carmel, along with several other children. After this incident, Linlin possessed Mother Carmel's Soru Soru no Mi soul manipulation powers. This established precedent shows that consuming a devil fruit user can transfer their abilities to the consumer. The parallel between Big Mom's unconscious cannibalism and Blackbeard's deliberate power hunting suggests similar mechanics might be involved. However, Big Mom's case happened during childhood and appeared accidental, while Blackbeard's method seems calculated and systematic. The connection becomes more disturbing when considering the implications. If cannibalism can transfer devil fruit powers, it would explain why Blackbeard specifically needs to kill his targets rather than simply defeating them. The process would require consuming specific parts of the victim's body, most likely organs like the heart or brain where the devil fruit's power might be concentrated. Historical pirate legends also support the cannibalism theory. Real-world pirates often engaged in cannibalistic practices, believing that consuming enemies would grant them their strength or courage. Some pirate cultures believed eating the heart or brain of a powerful foe would transfer their abilities. Eiichiro Oda frequently draws inspiration from actual pirate history, making these connections particularly relevant. The behavior of Blackbeard's crew provides additional evidence for the cannibalism theory. The Blackbeard pirates are known for their ruthless hunting of devil fruit users, specifically targeting powerful individuals with valuable abilities. They don't seem interested in capturing these users alive or stealing their treasures. Instead, they kill them and somehow extract their powers, suggesting a process that requires the user's death. Several crew members have made disturbing comments about their power acquisition methods. Jesus Burgess, Blackbeard's first mate, has been shown carrying large bags and making references to collecting devil fruit powers. His enthusiasm for hunting powerful devil fruit users suggests familiarity with whatever gruesome process they employ. The secrecy and apparent discomfort surrounding their methods implies something darker than simple combat. The Yami Yami no Mi absorption theory offers a more supernatural explanation for Blackbeard's abilities. This theory focuses on the unique properties of the darkness fruit that set it apart from other Logia-type devil fruits. Unlike other Logia users who can become intangible, the Yami Yami no Mi doesn't grant this ability. Instead, it absorbs everything that comes into contact with it, including physical attacks and other devil fruit powers. Blackbeard demonstrated this absorption ability during his fight with Portgas D, Ace, Whitebeard's 2nd Division commander. When Ace tried to use his Mera Mera no Mi fire powers against Blackbeard, the darkness fruit absorbed the flames and negated Ace's Logia intangibility. This showed that the Yami Yami no Mi can interact directly with other devil fruit abilities in ways that normal fruits cannot. The theory suggests that this absorption property extends beyond temporary negation to permanent extraction. If the Yami Yami no Mi can absorb devil fruit powers during combat, it might be able to pull these powers completely out of a user's body under the right conditions. The death of the user might be necessary to release the devil residing within them, allowing Blackbeard's darkness to absorb and contain it permanently. Supporting evidence comes from Blackbeard's own statements about his devil fruit. He has described the Yami Yami no Mi as the most powerful Logia fruit, not because of its offensive capabilities, but because of its unique properties. He specifically mentioned that it can absorb anything, including other devil fruit abilities. This suggests he understood the fruit's extraction potential before consuming it. The cannibalism theory proposes that Blackbeard literally consumes parts of devil fruit users to gain their abilities, following the precedent established by Big Mom's accidental consumption of Mother Caramel. This theory suggests that devil fruit powers reside in specific organs or body parts, most commonly the heart, and that consuming these parts transfers the abilities to the consumer. Evidence for organ-specific power storage comes from several sources within the series. The heart has particular significance in One Piece, often representing the core of a person's being and their strongest emotions. Law's Ope Ope no Mi can remove hearts while keeping people alive, suggesting hearts have special properties in the One Piece world. If devil fruit powers are stored in the heart, consuming this organ would logically transfer the abilities. The theory explains why Blackbeard needed to cover Whitebeard's body at Marineford. The black cloth would hide the gruesome process of extracting and consuming whatever organ contained Whitebeard's devil fruit power. The relatively quick time frame suggests Blackbeard had practiced this method before and could perform it efficiently even under pressure. This interpretation makes Blackbeard's crew particularly terrifying. They would essentially be cannibalistic murderers who hunt devil fruit users, not just for their bounties but for their literal flesh. The psychological impact on the One Piece world would be enormous, as devil fruit users would face a threat unlike anything else in the series. Other pirates might kill them for treasure or revenge, but Blackbeard's crew would kill them to steal their very essence. The cannibalism theory also explains the apparent discomfort of Blackbeard's crew members during the Whitebeard extraction. Even hardened criminals and murderers might be disturbed by ritualistic cannibalism. Their willingness to participate despite this discomfort shows their complete loyalty to Blackbeard and their belief in his ultimate victory. However, the cannibalism theory faces several challenges. The most significant is the lack of direct evidence for this gruesome practice. While Big Mom's case establishes precedent, her situation involved accidental consumption during a psychological episode. Blackbeard's method appears more deliberate and systematic, which might require different mechanics. The Yami Yami no Mi absorption theory provides a more supernatural but potentially less disturbing explanation. This theory suggests that Blackbeard's darkness fruit can literally pull devil fruit powers out of other users through its absorption properties. The darkness would act like a supernatural vacuum, drawing out the devil that grants the user their abilities. According to this theory, the Yami Yami no Mi creates a connection between Blackbeard and other devil fruit users that allows him to extract their powers directly. The user's death might be necessary because living beings naturally resist having their abilities removed. Once dead, the devil within them becomes vulnerable to extraction through Blackbeard's darkness. The absorption theory explains several aspects of Blackbeard's abilities. His demonstrated power to negate other devil fruit abilities during combat could be a weaker version of his extraction ability. Instead of permanently removing powers, he temporarily suppresses them through direct contact. The full extraction might require prolonged contact with a deceased user. This method would still be morally reprehensible because it requires murdering devil fruit users, but it would be less grotesque than literal cannibalism. The black cloth at Marineford would hide the supernatural extraction process rather than physical consumption. The darkness might manifest visibly during extraction, creating disturbing imagery that witnesses shouldn't see. The absorption theory also explains why Blackbeard specifically sought the Yami Yami no Mi. No other devil fruit has demonstrated the ability to interact with other fruits in the same way. Blackbeard might have discovered ancient knowledge about the darkness fruit's true capabilities and spent decades planning how to exploit them. Both theories share common elements that make them compelling. They explain why Blackbeard targets devil fruit users specifically, why he needs to kill them rather than capture them, and why the extraction process must be hidden from witnesses. They also account for his systematic approach to power hunting and his crew's specialized role in finding suitable targets. The implications of either theory would fundamentally change how devil fruit users operate in the One Piece world. If Blackbeard can permanently steal devil fruit abilities through cannibalism or absorption, no devil fruit user would be safe from his crew's hunting expeditions. This creates an entirely new category of threat that goes beyond normal piracy or military conflict. Devil fruit users would need to completely restructure their security arrangements. Simply being strong enough to defend themselves wouldn't be sufficient anymore. They would need to avoid being alone, travel in groups with trusted allies, and potentially avoid certain areas where the Blackbeard pirates are known to operate. The psychological pressure of knowing their abilities could be permanently stolen would affect their combat performance and decision-making. The economic implications would be severe. Devil fruits are among the most valuable commodities in the One Piece world, with even common varieties selling for hundreds of millions of berries. If Blackbeard can steal these powers at will, the entire devil fruit market would become unstable. Potential buyers would hesitate to invest in abilities that could be taken away, while sellers would demand higher prices to compensate for the increased risk. Strategic alliances would form specifically to counter the Blackbeard threat. Pirates who normally compete with each other might be forced to cooperate to prevent Blackbeard from becoming too powerful. The world government might find themselves working with pirate crews they usually consider enemies. These unusual partnerships would reshape the political landscape of the Grand Line. The knowledge of Blackbeard's hunting method would also accelerate the arms race between major powers. Other emperors would seek ways to protect their devil fruit-using crew members or develop countermeasures against power extraction. The world government might prioritize research into devil fruit mechanics to understand and potentially replicate Blackbeard's abilities. The confirmation of either the cannibalism or absorption theory would establish Blackbeard as uniquely evil within the One Piece world. While the series features many villains who commit terrible acts, systematically hunting and consuming or absorbing other people's abilities represents a new level of horror. This would cement Blackbeard's position as the ultimate antagonist, someone who represents everything Luffy and his allies stand against. The revelation would impact how readers understand devil fruit mechanics entirely. The established rule that devil fruits reincarnate into nearby regular fruits when their user dies might not apply when the powers are extracted by Blackbeard's method. This could mean that abilities stolen by Blackbeard are permanently removed from circulation, making him a threat to the diversity of devil fruit powers in the world. From a thematic perspective, either theory reinforces One Piece's central message about earned versus stolen power. Throughout the series, Luffy and his allies grow stronger through training, friendship, and personal development. Blackbeard represents the opposite philosophy, gaining power by literally consuming or absorbing it from others. This creates the perfect thematic contrast for the series' ultimate conflict. The psychological impact on the One Piece community would be enormous. Fans have spent years speculating about Blackbeard's methods, but the confirmation of either cannibalism or supernatural absorption would represent a darker turn than many expected. It would demonstrate that the series is willing to explore truly disturbing concepts while maintaining its adventure story format. The revelation would also influence how other characters develop their abilities. Knowing that their powers could be permanently stolen might motivate devil fruit users to develop non-fruit-based skills as backup options. This could lead to more characters mastering haki or developing unique fighting techniques that don't rely on supernatural abilities. Future story developments would need to address the moral implications of Blackbeard's methods. The series has always maintained a relatively optimistic tone despite featuring violence and conflict. The confirmation of systematic cannibalism or supernatural absorption would represent the darkest element introduced in the series and would require careful handling to maintain narrative balance. The final confrontation between Luffy and Blackbeard would take on additional significance with either theory confirmed. It would represent not just a battle between rival pirates, but a clash between fundamentally different philosophies about power and human nature. Luffy's victory would symbolize the triumph of earned strength and moral behavior over stolen power and evil methods. The mystery of how Blackbeard steals devil fruit powers centers on two main theories. The cannibalism theory suggests he literally consumes parts of devil fruit users, following Big Mom's precedent of gaining Mother Carmel's powers, while the Yami Yami no Mi absorption theory proposes his darkness fruit can supernaturally extract abilities from deceased users. Evidence includes the secretive black cloth process used on Whitebeard at Marineford, his crew's systematic hunting of devil fruit users rather than capturing them alive, the Yami Yami no Mi's unique ability to absorb and negate other devil fruit powers during combat, and Blackbeard's decades-long plan to acquire this specific fruit for its special properties. Both theories require killing the target and explain why the process must be hidden from witnesses, though cannibalism would be more physically gruesome while absorption would be supernaturally disturbing. Either method would make Blackbeard uniquely evil by permanently stealing the abilities that define other characters' identities, creating the ultimate thematic contrast. With Luffy's philosophy of earned strength through friendship and training, while establishing the final boss as someone who literally consumes or absorbs power from others rather than developing it himself. Before we move on, make sure to subscribe if you're enjoying this breakdown. Moving on to Rocks Pirates betrayal theory. The God Valley incident has puzzled One Piece fans for years with one fundamental question. How could Gall D, Roger, and Monkey D. Garp possibly defeat the legendary Rocks Pirates, a crew that included 3 future Emperors of the Sea, Edward Newgate, Charlotte Linlin, and Kaido? The Rocks Pirates betrayal theory proposes that the answer lies not in Roger and Garp's strength alone, but in a calculated betrayal by the crew's most powerful members, who abandoned or actively turned against their captain, Rocks D. Xebec, during the battle. To understand why this theory exists, we need to examine the incredible power imbalance at God Valley. The Rocks Pirates weren't just any ordinary crew, they were the strongest pirate organization of their era. Decades before Roger became the Pirate King, Captain Rocks D. Xebec led a crew that included Edward Newgate, who would later become Whitebeard and be known as the world's strongest man. Charlotte Linlin would become Big Mom, one of the most feared pirates in the world. Kaido would earn the title of world's strongest creature. Beyond these 3 future emperors, the Rocks Pirates also included Golden Lion Shiki, who commanded the largest pirate fleet of his time, Captain John Silver Axe, and Ochoku, all legendary figures in their own right. This wasn't just a powerful crew, it was a collection of individuals who would go on to reshape the entire pirate world after the crew disbanded. On the opposing side stood Gall D. Roger and his crew, along with Vice Admiral Monkey D. Garp and Marine Forces. While both Roger and Garp were undoubtedly powerful, the mathematical reality seems impossible. Even if we assume Roger could match Rocks D. Xebec in single combat, that still leaves Garp to somehow handle 3 future emperors plus several other legendary pirates simultaneously. The official story states that Roger and Garp formed a temporary alliance to defeat the Rocks Pirates, but this explanation raises more questions than it answers. Whitebeard alone was considered Roger's equal in later years. Big Mom possessed one of the most destructive devil fruit powers imaginable. Kaido was virtually indestructible even as a young apprentice. The combined might of these individuals, fighting together under a capable leader, should have overwhelmed any opposition. What makes this even more puzzling is what happened after God Valley. Instead of being captured or killed like typical defeated pirates, the surviving Rocks Pirates members went on to achieve unprecedented success. Whitebeard, Big Mom, and Kaido all became Emperors of the Sea, ruling vast territories with massive crews. Shiki assembled the largest pirate fleet in history. These aren't the typical outcomes for pirates who suffered a crushing defeat. The world government's behavior after God Valley also raises suspicions. Rather than celebrating the defeat of the world's most dangerous pirate crew, they covered up the entire incident. They erased God Valley from maps and history books. They credited Garp with the victory while downplaying Roger's involvement. This level of secrecy suggests something more complex occurred than a straightforward military victory. The foundation of the betrayal theory lies in understanding the internal dynamics of the Rocks Pirates. Unlike crews led by charismatic figures like Roger or Luffy, the Rocks Pirates were held together primarily through fear and mutual benefit rather than loyalty or friendship. Sengoku explicitly stated that the crew members didn't trust each other and constantly fought among themselves. This internal dysfunction created the perfect conditions for betrayal. Edward Newgate, even as a young man, showed signs of the values that would later define him as Whitebeard. He dreamed of having a family, not conquering the world. Charlotte Linlin, while ambitious, had her own agenda focused on creating her utopia of Totoland. Kaido sought strength above all else and respected power more than loyalty. None of these goals aligned with Rocks D. Xebec's apparent desire for world domination. The timing of God Valley provides crucial context for potential betrayal. The Rocks Pirates had been together for several years, giving the crew members time to grow stronger and develop their own ambitions. They had reached a point where some members might have felt strong enough to strike out on their own. A confrontation with Roger and Garp could have provided the perfect opportunity to eliminate their captain while appearing to be victims of marine justice. Evidence for pre-existing tensions comes from later interactions between former Rocks Pirates members. When Whitebeard and Big Mom met decades later, their conversation revealed underlying resentment and barely contained hostility. They spoke to each other not as old comrades, but as rivals who had shared an unpleasant past. Kaido showed similar attitudes when discussing his former crewmates, suggesting the relationships were built on necessity rather than genuine camaraderie. The world government's decision to grant emperor status to 3 former Rocks pirates also supports the betrayal theory. If these individuals had genuinely fought against Roger and Garp at God Valley, the world government would likely view them as extremely dangerous enemies. Instead, they were allowed to operate freely and even granted a form of official recognition through the emperor system. This suggests a possible deal or understanding was reached. Consider the alternative scenario. If Whitebeard, Big Mom, and Kaido had betrayed or abandoned Rocks during the battle, the world government might view them as useful. They had eliminated the world government's greatest threat while removing a potential rival for their own ambitions. The government could allow them to operate as emperors, knowing they would compete with each other rather than unite against the world government. The individual character motivations of the future emperors support this theory. Whitebeard's later actions consistently showed he valued family and crew loyalty above personal ambition. Betraying a captain who didn't share these values and who ruled through fear rather than respect would align with his moral code. He might have seen Rocks as a tyrant who deserved to be overthrown. Big Mom's personality suggests she would have little loyalty to anyone who couldn't provide what she wanted. If Rocks couldn't help her achieve her dream of creating a world where all races could coexist, she might have seen him as expendable. Her later willingness to betray allies when it suited her purposes shows this behavior pattern was established early. Kaido's respect for strength could have motivated betrayal if he concluded that Rocks was weaker than he appeared. If Kaido believed Roger represented greater strength than Rocks, switching sides might have seemed like the logical choice. His later philosophy about the strong ruling the weak suggests he would have little sympathy for a captain who couldn't maintain control of his crew. The betrayal theory proposes several possible scenarios for how the treachery unfolded at God Valley. The most likely version suggests that when Roger and Garp arrived to confront the Rocks pirates, the crew's most powerful members saw an opportunity to eliminate their captain while avoiding responsibility for the act. According to this theory, the battle began as expected, with the Rocks pirates initially fighting together against Roger and Garp. However, at a crucial moment in the conflict, Whitebeard, Big Mom, and Kaido either withdrew from the fight or actively turned against Rocks. This sudden shift in the balance of power would have left Rocks outnumbered and vulnerable to defeat. The betrayal could have been coordinated in advance, with the future emperors secretly communicating their intentions to each other before the battle. Alternatively, it might have been a spontaneous decision made during the heat of combat when they realized the opportunity presented itself. The lack of trust and communication within the crew would have made either scenario possible. Evidence for coordinated betrayal comes from the aftermath of God Valley. All 3 future emperors not only survived but quickly established themselves as major powers in their own right. This suggests they had prepared for life after the Rocks pirates and possibly had plans in place before the battle began. The speed with which they transitioned to independent operations implies advanced planning rather than scrambling to recover from defeat. The spontaneous betrayal theory is supported by the chaotic nature of the battle described in various accounts. If the fighting was intense and confusing, opportunities for treachery might have emerged naturally. One of the future emperors might have made the first move to abandon or attack Rocks, with the others quickly following suit to avoid being left in an untenable position. Physical evidence from the battle scene supports the betrayal theory. God Valley itself was reportedly destroyed during the conflict, suggesting the use of incredibly powerful attacks. However, the pattern of destruction might indicate that the most devastating blows came from within the Rocks pirates' ranks rather than from Roger and Garp alone. If Whitebeard's earthquake powers, Big Mom's soul manipulation, and Kaido's incredible strength were turned against their own captain, the resulting devastation would explain the island's destruction. The timing of when specific Rocks pirates members left the battle also provides clues. According to various accounts, different crew members disappeared or were defeated at different points during the conflict. This staggered departure pattern is consistent with a planned betrayal, where each conspirator had a specific role and timing for their treachery. The role of Golden Lion Shiki in the betrayal remains unclear. Some versions of the theory suggest he was part of the conspiracy, while others propose he remained loyal to Rocks until the end. His later pursuit of Roger and his eventual defeat and imprisonment might indicate he blamed Roger for Rocks' death, suggesting he wasn't part of any betrayal plot. The behavior of lesser Rocks pirates members during and after the battle also supports the theory. Many crew members who weren't part of the inner circle of future emperors simply disappeared after God Valley, rather than being captured or killed. This suggests they recognized the betrayal and fled, rather than continuing to fight for a doomed captain. If the betrayal theory is correct, the immediate consequences would have been carefully managed by all parties involved. The world government would have had strong incentives to cover up the true events, as revealing that they relied on pirate treachery to defeat their greatest enemy would undermine their authority and credibility. Roger and Garp would have benefited from the official story crediting them with the victory, even if they knew the truth about the betrayal. Roger's reputation as a future pirate king was enhanced by the perceived defeat of such a powerful crew. Garp became known as the hero of the Marines for his role in stopping the Rocks pirates. Neither would have reason to reveal that their victory was made possible by internal treachery. The betraying crew members would have had the strongest motivation to keep the truth secret. Admitting to betrayal would damage their reputations and potentially make them targets for revenge from remaining Rocks pirates loyalists. By allowing the world to believe they were defeated by superior force, they maintained their dignity while eliminating their rivals for power. The immediate redistribution of power after God Valley supports the betrayal theory. Rather than a gradual rebuilding process typical after a major defeat, the former Rocks Pirates members quickly established themselves in positions of strength. This rapid transition suggests they had preserved their resources and crews during the battle, rather than suffering significant losses. The world government's decision to establish the Emperor system shortly after God Valley makes more sense if viewed as a way to manage the betraying crew members, rather than trying to capture or eliminate three incredibly powerful individuals who had just proven their willingness to eliminate threats. The government might have chosen to contain them through official recognition and territorial divisions. The psychological impact on the pirate world was immediate and lasting. The apparent defeat of the Rocks pirates sent a message that even the strongest crews could be brought down by government forces. However, the rapid rise of the former crew members to emperor status created a new balance of power that actually made the seas more dangerous for ordinary people. The long-term implications of the Rocks pirates' betrayal extend far beyond the immediate aftermath of God Valley. If the theory is correct, it fundamentally changed how the One Piece world operates and set the stage for decades of conflict and competition between the former crewmates. The Emperor system that emerged after God Valley can be viewed as a direct result of the betrayal. The world government essentially legitimized the rule of three individuals who had just demonstrated their willingness to eliminate threats to their power. This created a new form of pirate governance based on territorial control and mutual deterrence, rather than the chaotic free-for-all that existed under the Rocks pirates' dominance. The personal relationships between Whitebeard, Big Mom, and Kaido were permanently poisoned by the events at God Valley. Their later interactions consistently showed underlying tension and mistrust. When they occasionally worked together, it was always temporary and based on mutual benefit rather than genuine cooperation. The betrayal created a cycle of suspicion that prevented them from ever truly trusting each other again. This mistrust actually served the world government's interests perfectly. Instead of facing a united front of three incredibly powerful pirates, they dealt with three rivals who were more likely to fight each other than to combine forces against the government. The betrayal at God Valley created a self-perpetuating system of division among the world's strongest pirates. The impact on Monkey D. Dragon's worldview and eventual formation of the Revolutionary Army might also trace back to God Valley. If Dragon witnessed the betrayal during the battle, it could have shaped his understanding of how corrupt systems maintain power through division and manipulation. His later rebellion against the world government might stem from recognizing how they exploited pirate treachery for their own benefit. The precedent set by the God Valley betrayal influenced how later pirate alliances formed and operated. The knowledge that even the strongest crews could be brought down by internal treachery made pirates more cautious about who they trusted and how they structured their organizations. This led to the more family-based crew structures seen with Whitebeard and the more fear-based control exercised by Kaido. The betrayal theory also explains why the world government was so determined to cover up the events at God Valley, revealing that their greatest victory was achieved through pirate betrayal rather than government strength would have undermined their authority and possibly encouraged other pirates to attempt similar treachery against their own allies. From a thematic perspective, the God Valley betrayal represents the corruption and moral compromise that characterizes the old generation of pirates. In contrast to Luffy's crew, which is built on genuine friendship and loyalty, the Rocks pirates represented the worst aspects of piracy: greed, betrayal, and the pursuit of power at any cost. The ripple effects of the betrayal continue to influence current events in One Piece. The ongoing conflicts between former Rocks Pirates members, their complicated relationships with the world government, and their eventual defeats by the new generation all trace back to the choices made at God Valley decades earlier. The Rocks Pirates betrayal theory explains the impossible victory at God Valley by proposing that Edward Newgate, Charlotte Linlin, and Kaido betrayed or abandoned their captain Rox D. Xebec during the battle against Roger and Garp. This theory addresses the mathematical impossibility of Roger and Garp defeating a crew containing 3 future emperors, plus other legendary pirates, by suggesting the crew's most powerful members turned against their leader. Evidence includes the Rocks pirates' established internal dysfunction and lack of mutual trust, the suspicious rapid rise of the betrayers to emperor status afterward, the world government's unusual decision to cover up rather than celebrate such a major victory, and the ongoing tension between former crewmates decades later. The betrayal would have been motivated by the future emperor's incompatible personal goals and their recognition that eliminating Rocks would allow them to pursue their own ambitions without competition. This treachery would explain why the world government established the emperor system to manage these dangerous individuals, created the current balance of power based on mutual deterrence rather than cooperation, and set the precedent for the distrust and division that prevents the world's strongest pirates from uniting against government authority, ultimately serving the world government's interests by ensuring their greatest potential enemies remain focused on competing with each other rather than challenging the established order. Before we move on, make sure to subscribe if you're enjoying this breakdown. Moving on, we have Rox D. Xebec is Blackbeard's father theory. Rox D. Xebec is Blackbeard's father theory. One of One Piece's most shocking recent revelations has been the confirmation that Marshall D. Teach, known as Blackbeard, is the son of the legendary Rox D. Xebec, captain of the most feared pirate crew in history. This theory, which fans speculated about for years based on subtle clues and parallels, fundamentally changes how we understand Blackbeard's motivations, his knowledge of devil fruit mechanics, his territorial choices, and his ultimate goal of world domination, as he follows in his father's footsteps. The connection between Blackbeard and Rox D. Xebec was hinted at long before any official confirmation through a series of deliberate parallels and suspicious coincidences that fans began noticing over the years. Both characters shared the mysterious D initial that marks them as members of the enigmatic D clan, whose members are considered natural enemies of the gods and often challenge the established world order. The first major clue came through Blackbeard's territorial ambitions. After gaining power as one of the 4 emperors, Blackbeard chose to make Hachinosu, also known as Pirate Island, his base of operations. This wasn't a random choice. Hachinosu was the former headquarters of the Rocks Pirates decades earlier. For Blackbeard to specifically seek out and claim his father's old territory suggests deep personal significance beyond mere strategic value. Blackbeard's ship name provided another crucial hint. He named his flagship the Saber of Xebec, a direct reference to Rox D. Xebec that seemed too specific to be coincidental. Most pirates name their ships after personal beliefs, treasured memories, or symbols of their ambitions. Blackbeard's choice to honor Xebec specifically suggested a personal connection that went beyond simple admiration for a legendary pirate. The physical resemblance between father and son became more apparent as more information about Rox D. Xebec was revealed. Both men share similar facial features, particularly around the eyes and jaw structure. Their builds are comparable, with both being large, imposing figures who command attention through sheer physical presence. Even their hair patterns show similarities, though Blackbeard's distinctive beard obviously sets him apart from his clean-shaven father. More importantly, both characters display the same fundamental personality traits and philosophical approaches to piracy. Rox D. Xebec was described as someone who sought to become king of the world, not just pirate king. This matches perfectly with Blackbeard's stated ambitions, which go far beyond typical piracy goals. Both men show a willingness to use any methods necessary to achieve their goals, including betraying allies and breaking traditional pirate codes of conduct. The timing of Blackbeard's birth and Rox D. Xebec's death at God Valley also aligns perfectly with the father-son theory. Rox was killed 38 years ago during the God Valley incident, while Blackbeard's current age and background suggest he was born around that same time period. This timing isn't coincidental. It suggests that Blackbeard was either born shortly before his father's death or was conceived during Rox's final period of activity. The evidence supporting the father-son connection grew stronger as more details about both characters emerged through the story. Blackbeard's unusual knowledge of devil fruit mechanics, which allowed him to specifically target the Yami Yami no Mi and later steal Whitebeard's Gura Gura no Mi, suggested access to information that most pirates don't possess. If his father was Rox D. Xebec, who led a crew full of powerful devil fruit users, this knowledge could have been passed down through family connections or hidden records. Blackbeard's recruitment strategy for his crew also mirrors his father's approach. The Rox Pirates were famously a collection of powerful, dangerous individuals who were held together through fear, mutual benefit, and the promise of greater power rather than friendship or loyalty. Blackbeard's crew follows the same pattern, recruiting dangerous criminals and powerful fighters who serve him primarily because of what he can offer them rather than genuine camaraderie. The Will of D connection between father and son goes beyond just sharing the initial. Throughout One Piece, members of the D clan have been shown to inherit not just names but fundamental philosophies and destinies from their ancestors. Monkey D. Garp and Monkey D. Dragon both oppose injustice in their own ways. Monkey D. Luffy inherited Roger's dream through their shared connection. If Blackbeard is Rox's son, his world domination ambitions represent the inheritance of his father's ultimate goal. Physical evidence of the connection appeared in Blackbeard's unusual body structure, which Marco the Phoenix noted as being atypical. While this abnormality explains his ability to consume multiple devil fruits, it might also be an inherited trait from his father. If Rox D. Xebec possessed similar physical anomalies, it could explain how he was able to command such a powerful crew and why he was considered such a significant threat to the world government. The behavioral patterns shared between father and son extend beyond personality to specific tactical approaches. Both Rox and Blackbeard showed a preference for recruiting through displays of overwhelming power rather than persuasion or friendship. They both targeted the strongest possible opponents and allies, believing that surrounding themselves with powerful individuals would guarantee their success. Perhaps most significantly, both characters demonstrate the same approach to achieving their goals. They're willing to wait decades for the right opportunity, then strike decisively when the moment is perfect. Rox spent years building his crew and waiting for the right moment to challenge the world government directly. Blackbeard spent over 20 years on Whitebeard's crew, patiently waiting for the specific devil fruit he needed to begin his own rise to power. The world government's reaction to Blackbeard also mirrors their historical treatment of his father. Just as they worked desperately to erase Rox D. Xebec from history and covered up the true events of God Valley, they show similar concern about Blackbeard's growing power. The government seems to understand that he represents the same fundamental threat his father posed, not just another powerful pirate, but someone capable of actually overthrowing the existing world order. The recent confirmation of Blackbeard's parentage came through revelations in the manga that directly connected the two characters through family lineage. This confirmation wasn't presented as a shocking twist, but rather as a natural revelation of information that careful readers had already begun to suspect based on the mounting evidence. The confirmation explains numerous mysteries about Blackbeard's background and motivations that had puzzled fans for years. His encyclopedic knowledge of devil fruits, his specific targeting of the Yami Yami no Mi, and his ability to steal Whitebeard's power all make perfect sense if he inherited not just his father's ambitions but also his father's research and knowledge about the supernatural mechanics of the One Piece world. Blackbeard's choice to kill Thatch and betray the Whitebeard pirates gains new significance with this revelation. He wasn't just pursuing personal power. He was continuing his father's work and fulfilling a family destiny. The Yami Yami no Mi might have been specifically identified by Rox D. Xebec as the key to achieving world domination, with this knowledge passed down to his son as a sacred mission. The connection also explains Blackbeard's apparent immunity to the usual consequences of consuming multiple devil fruits. If this ability is an inherited trait from his father, it suggests that Rox D. Xebec might have possessed similar powers, or at least the physical capacity to wield them. This would explain how he was able to lead such a powerful crew of devil fruit users and why he posed such an unprecedented threat to the world government. Blackbeard's territorial ambitions take on new meaning as well. His claim on Hachinosu isn't just strategic positioning, it's reclaiming his family inheritance. His establishment of a base there represents the continuation of the Rocks Pirates' legacy under new leadership. The island itself might contain resources, information, or strategic advantages that Rox D. Xebec had prepared for his eventual successor. The father-son connection also provides context for Blackbeard's relationship with former Rocks Pirates members. His conflicts with Whitebeard, Big Mom, and Kaido aren't just rivalries between competing emperors. They're personal vendettas against the individuals who betrayed his father at God Valley. Blackbeard's ultimate defeat of Whitebeard and acquisition of his Devil Fruit power can be seen as revenge for his father's death. This revelation transforms Blackbeard from an opportunistic pirate seeking personal power into the heir of a generational conflict. His actions aren't just about his own ambitions. They're about completing his father's unfinished business and achieving the world domination that Rox D. Xebec died trying to accomplish. The timing of when Blackbeard chose to reveal his full ambitions also makes more sense with this context. He waited until after Whitebeard's death, not just because it created a power vacuum, but because it eliminated the last major obstacle to continuing his father's mission. With Whitebeard gone and his power stolen, Blackbeard could finally emerge from the shadows and openly pursue the goal of world domination. The confirmation of Blackbeard's parentage immediately changes how other characters and organizations view him as a threat. The world government, which worked so hard to erase Rox D. Xebec from history, now faces the nightmare scenario of his son carrying on his work with even greater resources and knowledge than the original possessed. This revelation makes Blackbeard's conflict with Luffy even more significant. It's not just a battle between rival pirates or competing philosophies. It's the continuation of a generational struggle between the Rocks lineage and the forces that oppose them. Luffy, as the inheritor of Roger's will, represents the same force that defeated Blackbeard's father at God Valley. The former Rocks Pirates members who are still alive, primarily Big Mom and Kaido before their defeats, would view Blackbeard's true identity with a mixture of fear and guilt. They betrayed his father and allowed him to die, and now face retribution from a son who has grown more powerful than any of them anticipated. This adds personal stakes to their conflicts that go beyond territorial disputes. Marine leadership would need to completely reassess their approach to dealing with Blackbeard. If he truly inherited his father's knowledge, abilities, and resources, he represents a more systematic and long-term threat than typical pirates. His actions aren't random or opportunistic. They're part of a decades-long plan to achieve what his father died attempting. The revelation also impacts how other D-Clan members view Blackbeard. While most D-Clan members seem destined to oppose the world government and fight for freedom, Blackbeard represents a different interpretation of that destiny. His father's goal of world domination suggests that not all D-Clan members are inherently heroic. Some may seek to replace existing oppression with their own. Other pirate crews would need to reconsider their relationships with the Blackbeard pirates. Knowing that their captain is the son of the most feared pirate in history and heir to the Rocks Pirates' legacy makes them a more dangerous potential ally or enemy. Some crews might seek to join him, while others would actively work to prevent him from achieving his father's goals. The confirmation that Blackbeard is Rox D. Xebec's son fundamentally alters the trajectory of the One Piece story's final conflicts. This isn't just about individual ambition anymore, it's about the resolution of a conflict that began decades ago at God Valley and has been building toward its conclusion ever since. Blackbeard's ultimate goal becomes clearer with this context. He's not just seeking to become Pirate King, he's trying to fulfill his father's dream of becoming king of the world. This means his final conflict with Luffy will determine not just who finds the One Piece, but what kind of world will emerge from the current era of piracy. The thematic implications are enormous. One Piece has always explored themes of inherited will and how the actions of one generation influence the next. Blackbeard represents the dark side of this inheritance. A son who received not just his father's dreams, but also his methods and willingness to achieve goals through any means necessary. This revelation also explains why Blackbeard has been set up as Luffy's ultimate opponent rather than just another emperor to defeat. As the son of the man who represented everything Roger fought against, Blackbeard embodies the antithesis of everything Luffy stands for. Their conflict represents the final battle between competing visions of what the world should become. The scientific implications within the One Piece world are equally significant. If Blackbeard's unusual body structure and ability to consume multiple devil fruits is an inherited trait, It suggests that the Rock's bloodline carries genetic modifications or supernatural properties that make them uniquely suited for world domination. This could influence how other characters approach their own power development. From a storytelling perspective, the revelation provides perfect symmetry for the series' conclusion. The story began with Luffy inheriting Roger's dream and will continue until he faces the son of Roger's greatest enemy. This creates a satisfying narrative circle where the new generation must resolve the conflicts left unfinished by their predecessors. The revelation also impacts how readers understand the concept of inherited will in One Piece. While most examples show positive inheritances, Luffy carrying Roger's dream of freedom, Zoro pursuing Kuina's goal of becoming the world's greatest swordsman, Blackbeard represents inherited darkness. This adds complexity to the theme by showing that not all inherited wills are heroic. The world government's final desperate measures will likely be influenced by their recognition that they're facing not just another powerful pirate, but the continuation of their greatest historical threat. They may deploy weapons, allies, or strategies that they've kept in reserve specifically for dealing with the Rock's bloodline. The confirmation that Marshall D. Teach is the son of Rox D. Xebec explains numerous mysteries about Blackbeard's character, knowledge, and motivations that fans had speculated about for years. Evidence included his choice of Hachinosu as his base, his father's former headquarters, naming his ship the Saber of Xebec, their physical resemblance and shared personality traits, his encyclopedic knowledge of devil fruit mechanics, and his ultimate goal of world domination rather than just becoming Pirate King. This revelation transforms Blackbeard from an opportunistic pirate into the heir of a generational conflict who is systematically working to complete his father's unfinished mission of overthrowing the world government and ruling the world. The father-son connection explains his unusual body structure that allows multiple devil fruits, his strategic patience in waiting decades for the right opportunities, his recruitment of powerful criminals through fear rather than friendship, and his personal vendettas against the former Rox Pirates members who betrayed his father at God Valley. This makes his ultimate conflict with Luffy not just a battle between rival pirates, but the continuation of the generational struggle between the Rox lineage seeking world domination and the inheritors of Roger's will fighting freedom, creating perfect thematic symmetry as the new generation must resolve the conflicts their predecessors left unfinished decades ago. Before we move on, make sure to subscribe if you're enjoying this breakdown. Moving on to Thriller Bark contains Rox Pirates Zombies Theory. One of the most mind-blowing retroactive theories in One Piece suggests that many of the general zombies encountered by the Straw Hat Pirates during the Thriller Bark arc were actually the reanimated corpses of former Rox pirates. This theory proposes that Gecko Moria, in his obsession with collecting powerful corpses for his zombie army, specifically sought out the bodies of legendary pirates from the most feared crew in history, meaning Luffy and his crew unknowingly fought and defeated some of the strongest pirates who ever lived without realizing their true identities. The Thriller Bark arc introduced fans to Gecko Moria's terrifying ability to reanimate the dead using his Kage Kage no Mi Shadow fruit. Moria's strategy was simple but effective. Collect the corpses of powerful warriors, steal the shadows of living people, and combine them to create an unstoppable zombie army. The more powerful the original corpse, the stronger the resulting zombie would become. Among Moria's creations were the General Zombies, a group of elite undead warriors who served as officers in his zombie hierarchy. These zombies retained the fighting skills and abilities they possessed in life, making them formidable opponents despite their decayed state. However, their true identities remained largely mysterious during the arc, with most being introduced simply as numbered zombies with distinctive appearances and fighting styles. The theory connecting these general zombies to the Rox Pirates emerged years later, as fans began analyzing the timeline of events and Moria's known activities. Moria became a warlord of the sea and established his operations on Thriller Bark sometime after his devastating defeat by Kaido in Wano Country. This defeat occurred roughly 20 years before the current timeline, placing it about 18 years after the God Valley incident, where the Rox Pirates were disbanded. This timing is crucial because it means Moria was actively collecting corpses during the period when former Rox Pirates members were still dying from various causes. Some might have died from old age, others in battles with Marines or rival pirates, and some potentially from the long-term effects of their dangerous lifestyles. Their bodies would have been available for Moria to acquire through his network of grave robbers and body dealers. Moriya's methods for acquiring corpses were never fully explained, but the series hints that he had extensive connections throughout the world. His ability to obtain the body of Ryuma, the legendary samurai of Wano, demonstrates that he could acquire corpses from virtually anywhere, regardless of how well protected or significant they might be. If he could steal Ryuma's body, acquiring the remains of former Rocks Pirates members would certainly be within his capabilities. The physical appearances of several general zombies support the theory when compared to silhouettes and brief glimpses of Rocks Pirates members shown in flashbacks. While most Rocks Pirates remain unnamed and largely unknown, their distinctive designs and fighting styles have been partially revealed through various story segments and cover pages. Several general zombies bear striking resemblances to these shadowy figures from the past. The first concrete evidence supporting the theory came from the official confirmation that Captain John, one of the general zombies, was indeed a former member of the Rocks Pirates. This revelation appeared in Chapter 957, when Sengoku explicitly named Captain John among the Rocks Pirates crew members. Suddenly, fans realized that the zombie the Straw Hats had encountered and defeated was actually a legendary pirate from the most notorious crew in history. This confirmation opened the floodgates for speculation about other general zombies. If Moriya had acquired one former Rocks Pirates member, it stood to reason that he might have collected others. The zombie, designated as Number 900, who wielded multiple guns and had distinctive sunglasses, became a prime candidate for identification as another former Rocks Pirates member based on visual similarities to background figures shown in God Valley flashbacks. The armored zombie, known as Number 889, also drew attention from theorists. This zombie's distinctive full-body armor and long goatee match descriptions and brief glimpses of a character called Ganzui, identified in recent manga chapters as a smuggler who joined the Rocks Pirates. The physical similarities were too close to be coincidental, especially given Moriya's established practice of seeking out the most powerful corpses available. Fan analysis extended to examining the fighting styles and abilities displayed by various general zombies during their battles with the Straw Hat Pirates. Many of these zombies demonstrated combat techniques and weapon proficiencies that seemed far too advanced for random corpses. Their skills suggested they had been elite fighters in life, which would be consistent with membership in the Rocks Pirates. The geographical distribution of where Moriya might have found these corpses also supports the theory. The Rocks Pirates operated primarily in the New World, the same dangerous waters where Moriya later established his reputation before his defeat by Kaido. This overlap in operational areas would have given Moriya access to burial sites, battlefields, and other locations where former Rocks Pirates members might have been laid to rest. Evidence from the recent God Valley flashback chapters has strengthened the theory considerably. Chapter 1096 showed several Rocks Pirates members whose designs closely match previously seen general zombies. The revelation that multiple zombies from Thriller Bark were actually legendary pirates suggests a deliberate pattern rather than coincidental similarities. Volume 112's SBS Question Corner provided direct confirmation when Eiichiro Oda revealed that the multi-armed, sunglasses-wearing General Zombie was indeed the same character seen at God Valley. This character was later identified as Gil Bastar, confirming that Moriya had somehow acquired the corpse of another Rocks Pirates member for his zombie army. The implications of these confirmations extend beyond simple character identification. They suggest that Moriya's zombie collection was far more impressive than initially apparent. Rather than just gathering random strong corpses, he had systematically acquired some of the most legendary pirates in history, creating an army that included multiple former members of the world's most feared crew. The true scope of the Rocks Pirates zombie collection becomes apparent when analyzing the full roster of general zombies with this new information. Beyond the confirmed cases of Captain John and Gil Bastar, several other zombies show strong evidence of being former Rocks Pirates members based on design similarities, fighting styles, and contextual clues. The zombie known for his distinctive cape and possible connection to Silver Axe represents another likely candidate. Silver Axe was mentioned by Sengoku as one of the notable Rocks Pirates members, though his full design and abilities remain largely unknown. A caped zombie among the general zombies could easily be this mysterious figure, reanimated and pressed into service for Moriya's army. The Catfishman zombie barbell provides another interesting case study. Fishmen were represented among the Rocks Pirates crew, as shown in flashback panels, and this zombie's distinctive appearance and fighting ability suggest he was more than just a random fishman corpse. The timing and Moria's methods make it plausible that this zombie was also a former Rocks Pirates member. What makes this theory particularly fascinating is the meta-narrative implications. If true, it means the Straw Hat Pirates defeated several legendary figures from the most notorious pirate crew in history during what many fans consider one of the more lighthearted arcs. The comedy and horror of Thriller Bark would gain additional layers, knowing that Luffy and his crew were unknowingly battling the reanimated corpses of pirates whose legends terrified the world decades earlier. The zombie army's effectiveness also makes more sense with this context. Moria's General Zombies proved to be formidable opponents who pushed the Straw Hat Pirates to their limits despite the crew's growing strength. If these zombies retain the combat skills and experience of former Rocks Pirates members, their impressive performance becomes more understandable. The theory also explains why Moria was so confident in his zombie army's ability to challenge the world government and achieve his dreams of revenge against Kaido. If he truly possessed the reanimated corpses of multiple Rocks Pirates members, along with other legendary figures like Ryuma, his confidence would be well-founded. Such an army would represent an unprecedented collection of historical combat expertise. From Moria's perspective, acquiring Rocks Pirates' corpses would have been a strategic masterstroke. These pirates had proven capable of threatening the world government itself and had produced multiple future emperors. Even as zombies, they would retain much of their combat knowledge and instincts, making them invaluable additions to any army. The process of acquiring these corpses would have required significant resources and connections. Moria would have needed to track down burial sites, battle locations, or other places where former Rocks Pirates members had died. This suggests a level of planning and dedication that goes beyond opportunistic grave robbing. It represents a systematic campaign to collect the most powerful corpses in pirate history. The confirmation that multiple General Zombies were former Rocks Pirates members completely recontextualizes the Thriller Bark arc in terms of its historical significance. What initially appeared to be a standalone horror adventure becomes a crucial piece of One Piece's larger narrative puzzle, directly connecting the Straw Hat Pirates to the legendary crew that shaped the previous generation. This revelation enhances the Straw Hat Pirates' reputation and accomplishments retroactively. Defeating the reanimated corpses of Rocks Pirates members, even as weakened zombies, represents a significant achievement that demonstrates the crew's growing power. They unknowingly proved themselves against opponents whose living forms had terrorized the seas and challenged the world government. The theory also adds new dimensions to Gecko Moria's character and motivations. His obsession with collecting powerful corpses takes on greater meaning if he specifically targeted members of the most notorious pirate crew in history. This would demonstrate a level of ambition and historical knowledge that wasn't fully apparent during the original arc. For readers experiencing the Thriller Bark arc with this knowledge, the battles against General Zombies become far more significant. Each zombie defeated represents the final defeat of a legendary pirate whose actions shape the current world order. The Straw Hat Pirates become the instrument through which these historical figures finally find rest. The revelation impacts how other characters within the One Piece world might view the Straw Hat Pirates' accomplishments. Knowledge that they defeated multiple former Rocks Pirates members, even as zombies, would enhance their reputation among those who understand the historical significance of such victories. Marine intelligence would find this information particularly valuable for understanding both the Straw Hat Pirates' capabilities and the full scope of threats they've already neutralized. The fact that these legendary pirates have been permanently defeated since their shadows were destroyed, along with their zombie bodies, might actually be viewed as a service to world stability. The broader implications of the Thriller Bark Zombies theory extend far beyond simple character identification. If Moria successfully collected multiple Rocks Pirates' corpses, it suggests that the bodies of other legendary figures might also be available for similar exploitation. This raises questions about the security of burial sites and the potential for other villains to attempt similar corpse collection schemes. The theory also supports the recurring theme in One Piece that the past continues to influence the present in unexpected ways. The Straw Hat Pirates' victory over these zombies represents another step in their journey to surpass the achievements of previous generations. By defeating the reanimated forms of legendary pirates, they symbolically prove their worthiness to compete with historical figures. From a thematic perspective, The zombie defeats represent the triumph of the new generation over the old. The former Rocks Pirates members, even in undeath, were ultimately overcome by pirates who fight for different ideals and use different methods. This continues One Piece's exploration of how each generation must find its own path while learning from the successes and failures of their predecessors. The revelation also adds weight to the concept that certain locations in the One Piece world serve as crossroads where different eras meet. Thriller Bark became one such location where past and present collided, with the Straw Hat Pirates unknowingly battling the ghosts of piracy's darkest chapter. The theory influences how fans interpret other mysterious characters and zombies throughout the series. If multiple General Zombies were former Rocks Pirates members, it's possible that other unnamed or partially identified characters from various arcs might also have connections to this legendary crew. This encourages deeper analysis of background characters and their potential historical significance. The scientific and supernatural implications are equally interesting. The fact that corpses retain enough of their original abilities to be effective as zombies suggests that combat skills and possibly even devil fruit compatibility might be preserved after death. This has potential implications for understanding how abilities work in the One Piece world and whether other forms of resurrection or power transfer might be possible. Future story developments might reference these zombie defeats as the Straw Hat Pirates encounter other remnants of the Rocks Pirates era. Characters who knew these legendary figures in life might recognize that the Straw Hats defeated their reanimated forms, leading to respect, fear, or other complex emotional responses. The theory also suggests that Eiichiro Oda had planned connections between different story arcs much earlier than fans initially realized. The inclusion of former Rocks Pirates members as General Zombies demonstrates the intricate plotting that connects seemingly separate adventures into a cohesive narrative, spanning decades of in-world history. The Thriller Bark Rocks Pirates Zombies theory proposes that several General Zombies encountered during the Thriller Bark arc were actually reanimated corpses of former Rocks Pirates members, collected by Gecko Moria for his undead army. This theory gained credibility through confirmed cases like Captain John and Gil Bastar, whose identities as former Rocks Pirates were officially revealed years after the arc concluded. Evidence includes visual similarities between zombies and Rocks Pirates members shown in flashbacks, the timeline allowing Moria to collect these corpses after the crew's dissolution, his established ability to acquire legendary remains like Ryuma's body, and the advanced combat skills displayed by zombies that suggested elite-level training in life. The theory transforms Thriller Bark from a standalone horror adventure into a historically significant arc where the Straw Hat Pirates unknowingly battled and defeated some of the most legendary pirates in history, proving their worth against the reanimated forms of the crew that once threatened to rule the world. This revelation adds new layers to Moria's character as someone who systematically sought out the most powerful historical figures for his army, while demonstrating the recurring One Piece theme that the new generation must surpass the old by literally defeating the ghosts of piracy's darkest era, with each zombie victory representing both the final rest of these legendary figures and another step in the Straw Hats' journey to prove themselves worthy successors to the greatest pirates in history. Before we move on, make sure to subscribe if you're enjoying this breakdown. Moving on to Luffy's true dream theory. Beyond Luffy's well-known dream of becoming the Pirate King lies a deeper, more personal secret dream that he has shared with only his closest companions. This hidden dream made Ace and Sabo burst into laughter when they first heard it as children, and recently caused the same reaction from his current crew. The leading theory suggests that Luffy's true dream mirrors Goal D, Roger's own secret ambition, to throw the biggest party in the world, bringing together people from every corner of the Grand Line in a massive celebration of freedom and friendship. The mystery of Luffy's secret dream has been one of One Piece's longest-running enigmas, carefully hidden from readers for over 2 decades. The first hint appeared during Luffy's childhood flashback with Ace and Sabo, where young Luffy enthusiastically shared his real dream with his sworn brothers. However, Eiichiro Oda deliberately chose not to reveal what Luffy said, leaving readers to see only Ace and Sabo's shocked expressions followed by uncontrollable laughter. This pattern repeated throughout the series whenever Luffy's true dream was mentioned. During the post-Enies Lobby celebration, Luffy started to tell his crew about his real goal, but the scene cut away before readers could hear his words. The crew's reactions ranged from surprise to amusement, with some members laughing just as Ace and Sabo had years earlier. This consistent reaction suggests that Luffy's dream is both unexpected and endearingly innocent in a way that surprises even those who know him well. The connection between Luffy's dream and Gol D. Roger's ambition became apparent during flashbacks to the Roger Pirate's final voyage. When Roger shared his true dream with Whitebeard, the world's strongest man had a similar reaction of surprise followed by laughter. Whitebeard called Roger's dream childish, but not in a mocking way, rather with the kind of affectionate amusement reserved for genuinely pure-hearted ambitions. More recently, when Yamato revealed that Ace had told him about Luffy's dream, the reaction was identical. Yamato laughed and expressed amazement that someone could have such an innocent and grand dream in the modern world. This consistent pattern of laughter and surprise from different characters across different time periods strongly suggests that both Roger and Luffy share the same fundamental dream. The clues about what this dream might be have been scattered throughout the series in subtle ways. Roger's final words before his execution spoke of his treasure waiting at the end of the Grand Line, but his private conversations hinted at something more personal. When Rayleigh reminisced about Roger's dream, he smiled with the same mixture of amusement and admiration that others have shown when discussing Luffy's secret ambition. The most telling evidence comes from understanding both characters' personalities and values. Roger and Luffy share an incredible ability to make friends and allies wherever they go. They both value freedom above all else and have an infectious joy that draws people to them. Their public dreams of adventure and treasure-seeking mask a deeper desire for human connection and shared happiness. Build up. The worldwide party theory gained momentum as fans analyzed the themes and symbols that consistently appear around both Roger and Luffy. One of the most significant clues comes from the song Binks Sake, which has appeared at crucial moments throughout the series. This drinking song celebrates friendship, adventure, and the joy of sharing experiences with companions. The Roger Pirates sang this song as they approached Laugh Tale, and Brook's performance of it has brought tears and laughter to audiences across the Grand Line. The connection between Binks Sake and the party theory becomes stronger when examining its lyrics and cultural significance within the One Piece world. The song speaks of gathering friends, sharing drinks, and celebrating life's adventures together. It represents exactly the kind of universal celebration that would appeal to someone dreaming of bringing the entire world together in friendship. Food and parties have been central elements of Luffy's journey from the very beginning. Every major arc concludes with a massive feast where allies and former enemies come together to celebrate their victory. These parties aren't just plot devices, they're fundamental expressions of Luffy's philosophy. He believes that sharing food and drinks can bridge any gap between people, turning enemies into friends and strangers into family. The recurring theme of bringing people together appears in every aspect of Luffy's adventures. He doesn't just defeat villains. He often converts them into allies, or at least helps them find better paths. His crew itself represents this philosophy, bringing together individuals from completely different backgrounds and species who form an unbreakable bond. From a rubber-powered human, to a reindeer doctor, to a cyborg shipwright, the Straw Hat Pirates demonstrate that friendship transcends all boundaries. The Grand Line's geography supports the party theory as well. The various islands, each with their own unique cultures, foods, and traditions, would provide the perfect setting for a worldwide celebration. A party that brought together the Sky People of Skypiea, the Fishmen of Fishman Island, the Giants of Elbaf, and countless other communities would represent the ultimate expression of unity and friendship. Evidence from Luffy's interactions with food throughout the series reinforces this theory. He's not just a big eater, he's someone who understands that sharing meals creates bonds between people. When he shares his food with others, he's offering friendship. When he refuses to eat alone while his friends are suffering, he demonstrates that he values companionship over personal satisfaction. This attitude extends naturally to the idea of wanting to share the ultimate meal with everyone in the world. The laughter that Luffy's dream provokes makes perfect sense if it involves throwing a party. In a world filled with war, oppression, and conflict, the idea of someone whose ultimate goal is to bring everyone together for a celebration would seem wonderfully naive and impossibly optimistic. Yet it's exactly the kind of dream that would appeal to people who understand Luffy's pure heart and genuine desire to make others happy. The worldwide party theory proposes that Luffy's secret dream is to throw the biggest party in history, bringing together people from every island, kingdom, and culture across the entire Grand Line and beyond. This party wouldn't just be a celebration, it would be a declaration that all the artificial barriers dividing people are meaningless compared to their shared capacity for joy and friendship. This dream perfectly explains the consistent reactions from everyone who hears it. The idea of a pirate whose ultimate goal is to host a party rather than accumulate wealth or power would seem hilariously innocent to experienced pirates and Marines alike. Yet those who know Luffy understand that he's serious about wanting to make everyone happy, making his dream both funny and genuinely touching. The logistics of such a party would be staggering, which adds to both the humor and the impossibility that makes people laugh. Imagine trying to coordinate a celebration that includes the celestial dragons of Mary Geoise, the revolutionaries fighting against them, the Marines trying to maintain order, and every pirate crew sailing the seas. The contradictions and complications would be mind-boggling, yet Luffy would somehow believe it could work. The party theory also explains why this dream requires finding the One Piece and becoming the Pirate King. Only someone with ultimate freedom and authority could possibly bring together all the conflicting factions of the world for a single celebration. The Pirate King would have the influence to invite everyone and the power to ensure they could attend safely without fear of prosecution or attack. Roger's connection to this dream becomes clearer when considering his final words and the treasure he left behind. If the One Piece includes instructions, resources, or knowledge needed to throw the ultimate party, it would explain why Roger laughed when he reached Laugh Tale. The idea that the world's greatest treasure was meant to facilitate the world's greatest celebration would be both hilarious and perfect. The timing of when this party could happen also aligns with the series' approaching conclusion. As Luffy grows closer to finding the One Piece and achieving his public dream of becoming Pirate King, he would also be approaching the fulfillment of his secret dream. The final arc of One Piece could culminate not just in a great battle, but in the greatest party ever thrown. The guest list for such a party would include virtually every character who has appeared in the series. Former enemies who have been reformed through Luffy's influence, allies who have supported his journey, and neutral parties who would be curious about this unprecedented gathering. The diversity of attendees would demonstrate how Luffy's adventures have touched lives across the entire world. Food would obviously be a central element of this celebration, with each culture contributing their specialties to create the most amazing feast imaginable. Sanji's dream of finding the All Blue would perfectly complement Luffy's party dream, as the legendary sea would provide ingredients for dishes that could satisfy guests from every corner of the world. If Luffy's true dream is indeed to throw a worldwide party, the implications for how other characters view him would be profound. Pirates who initially saw him as a rival for treasure or territory would realize that his ultimate goal doesn't conflict with their own ambitions. He's not trying to rule the world or accumulate wealth. He just wants everyone to have fun together. This revelation would also explain why so many people are naturally drawn to Luffy, and why former enemies often become allies. His genuine desire to make others happy, expressed through his secret dream of the ultimate party, creates an unconscious appeal that transcends normal pirate rivalries. People sense that he truly wants good things for everyone, not just himself and his crew. The world government's reaction to learning Luffy's true dream would be complex. On one hand, a dream of bringing everyone together for a party seems harmless compared to typical pirate ambitions of conquest or destruction. On the other hand, any gathering that brought together all the government's enemies would represent a massive security threat, even if the stated purpose was celebration rather than rebellion. Other members of the D-Clan would likely find Luffy's dream both familiar and inspiring. If the will of D involves bringing freedom and joy to the world, a dream of universal celebration would represent the perfect expression of that inherited will. It would show how each generation interprets the family legacy in their own way, while staying true to its core values. The revelation would also impact how readers understand every party and feast that has occurred throughout the series. Each celebration becomes a small-scale practice run for Luffy's ultimate dream. Every time he brings people together over food and drinks, he's working toward his larger goal of uniting the entire world in the same way. Marine officers who have encountered Luffy would need to reassess their understanding of his threat level. While he's undoubtedly powerful and disruptive, his ultimate goal of throwing a party suggests motivations that are more innocent than typical pirate ambitions. This might influence how some Marines approach future encounters with him. The confirmation of the worldwide party theory would fundamentally change how fans understand the entire One Piece series. Every adventure, every friendship formed, and every enemy converted would be revealed as steps toward the ultimate goal of bringing everyone together in celebration. The series' themes of friendship, acceptance, and breaking down barriers would reach their perfect expression in A Dream of Universal Party. This revelation would also provide the perfect thematic conclusion for the series. Instead of ending with a typical final battle where good triumphs over evil, One Piece could conclude with the greatest celebration in fiction, where former enemies dance together and every character gets to experience pure joy. This would be unprecedented in manga and perfectly suited to the series' optimistic worldview. The practical implications of organizing such a party would require solutions to many of the world's ongoing conflicts. The party couldn't happen while the world government oppresses certain races, while fishmen face discrimination, or while various kingdoms remain at war. Luffy's dream would require him to help solve these problems not through force, but by showing everyone that they're more alike than different. The influence on other characters' dreams and goals would be significant. Knowing that Luffy's ultimate ambition is to make everyone happy through a worldwide celebration would inspire others to think bigger about their own dreams. Instead of focusing solely on personal achievements, they might consider how their goals could contribute to bringing more joy to the world. The cultural impact within the One Piece world would be enormous. A successful worldwide party would demonstrate that cooperation and friendship are possible even between the most unlikely allies. This could lead to permanent changes in how different groups interact with each other, potentially creating a more peaceful and unified world. From a storytelling perspective, the party theory provides endless possibilities for the series' conclusion. Every character who has appeared throughout the story could potentially attend, creating opportunities for reunions, reconciliations, and celebrations of how far everyone has come. The party could serve as both climax and denouement, wrapping up character arcs while celebrating the journey. The scientific and logistical challenges of throwing a party for the entire world would also drive innovation and cooperation. Different islands and cultures would need to work together to create food, transportation, and entertainment suitable for such a diverse gathering. This collaboration would strengthen bonds between communities and potentially lead to ongoing partnerships. The symbolic meaning of the party would resonate throughout the One Piece world and beyond. It would represent the triumph of joy over conflict, friendship over rivalry, and celebration over conquest. In a world that has known centuries of war and oppression, the simple act of everyone partying together would be revolutionary. Luffy's true dream theory suggests that beyond becoming Pirate King, Luffy's secret ambition is to throw the biggest party in the world, bringing together every person from every island and culture in a massive celebration of friendship and freedom. This theory explains why Ace, Sabo, and Luffy's current crew all laughed when hearing his dream. The idea of a pirate whose ultimate goal is universal celebration seems wonderfully naive, yet perfectly represents Luffy's pure heart and desire to make everyone happy. Evidence includes the connection to Gol D, Roger, who shared the same dream and laughed at Laugh Tale. The recurring theme of parties and feasts concluding every arc, Luffy's consistent ability to turn enemies into allies through shared meals and celebration, the significance of Binks' Sake as a song about friendship and gathering, and the fact that only the Pirate King would have the authority and influence needed to invite the entire world to such an event. This dream would require solving major world conflicts to make the party possible, turning Luffy's innocent wish into a force for peace and unity that addresses discrimination, war, and oppression, not through violence but by showing everyone their shared capacity for joy. The theory provides the perfect thematic conclusion for One Piece, where instead of a final battle, the series could end with the greatest celebration in fiction, demonstrating that friendship and happiness can triumph over any obstacle and unite even the most unlikely allies in universal brotherhood. Before we move on, make sure to subscribe if you're enjoying this breakdown. Moving on to 10th Straw Hat Member Theory. One of the most hotly debated topics in the One Piece community centers on who will become the 10th and potentially final official member of the Straw Hat Pirates. Early in the series, Luffy stated he wanted at least 10 crew members before entering the Grand Line, and with Jinbei officially joining as the 9th member during Wano, fans eagerly speculate about which character will complete the crew. The leading candidates include Princess Nefertari Vivi making her long-awaited return, Yamato following in Oden's footsteps, Carrot representing the Mink tribe's connection to the crew, or potentially a completely unexpected character who embodies the final piece Luffy needs for his dream. The question of the Straw Hats' final roster has fascinated fans since the series began, rooted in Luffy's early declaration about wanting at least 10 people to join his crew. This number wasn't arbitrary. It established a clear goal that has guided recruitment throughout the series. With 9 official members, now confirmed: Luffy, Zoro, Nami, Usopp, Sanji, Chopper, Robin, Frankie, Brook, and Jinbei. The mathematical inevitability of one more member creates intense speculation about who will fill that crucial final slot. The recruitment pattern established throughout the series provides important clues about what type of character might join next. Each Straw Hat has brought unique skills, personality traits, and dreams that complement the crew's overall dynamic. More importantly, each member had a specific tragic backstory that Luffy helped resolve, leading to their decision to join his crew and pursue their dreams alongside his. The timing of when the 10th member joins also carries significance. As the series enters its final saga and approaches the conclusion of Luffy's journey to become Pirate King, the final crew member would join at the most crucial moment. This suggests that whoever joins next will play a vital role in the ultimate confrontation with the world government and the discovery of the One Piece itself. The candidates for the 10th spot each bring compelling arguments based on their relationships with the crew, their unfulfilled dreams, their combat abilities, and their thematic significance to the story's conclusion. However, the choice also depends on what role Luffy's crew still needs to fill, both practically and narratively. Princess Nefertari Vivi represents the most emotionally resonant choice for many fans. She traveled with the Straw Hats from Whiskey Peak through the Arabasta arc, forming deep bonds with each crew member. Though she chose to stay in Arabasta to fulfill her duties as princess, she was offered official membership and remains an honorary Straw Hat in the hearts of both the crew and fans. Recent developments have made Vivi's return more likely than ever. The revelation that she possesses the D initial, making her full name Nefertari D. Vivi, connects her to the mysterious bloodline that includes Luffy, Roger, and other significant figures. Her apparent disappearance during the Reverie and the world government's targeting of her family have left her without a kingdom to rule, potentially freeing her to pursue adventures with her true friends. Yamato emerged as a strong candidate during the Wano arc, expressing explicit desire to join Luffy's crew and sail the seas like his idol, Kozuki Oden. As Kaido's child who rebelled against everything his father represented, Yamato embodies the theme of inherited will that runs throughout One Piece. His powerful abilities, including a mythical Zoan Devil Fruit and advanced Haki techniques, would make him a formidable addition to the crew's combat strength. Carrot has been traveling with the Straw Hats since Whole Cake Island, forming particular bonds with Chopper and the younger crew members. As a member of the Mink tribe, she brings unique abilities including her powerful Sulong transformation and natural warrior instincts. Her adventurous spirit and desire to see the world beyond Zoo align perfectly with the Straw Hats' philosophy of freedom and exploration. The case for Vivi returning to the crew has strengthened considerably with recent story developments. Her status as a D-Clan member wasn't revealed casually. It connects her to the overarching mystery of the Void Century and the ancient conflict between the D-Clan and the world government. This revelation suggests she has a crucial role to play in the series' conclusion that goes beyond her previous involvement in Arabasta. The emotional foundation for Vivi's return was established during her original time with the crew. She participated in their adventures, shared their dangers, and formed genuine friendships with each member. The farewell scene at Arabasta, where the crew held up their marked arms in silent goodbye, remains one of the most moving moments in the series. Her return would provide emotional payoff for that separation and demonstrate that some bonds transcend duty and obligation. Practically, Vivi possesses skills that would benefit the crew. Her diplomatic training and political knowledge would be invaluable as they navigate the complex final confrontation with the world government. Her understanding of royal protocols and international relations could help them build the alliances needed for the coming war. The obstacles to Vivi's return have been systematically removed by recent events. Her father's apparent death and Arabasta's political turmoil mean she no longer has the same obligations keeping her from adventure. The world government's hostility toward her family removes any safety she might have found in royal status. Rejoining the Straw Hats might actually be her safest option. Yamato's candidacy is built on explicit statements of intent and clear thematic parallels. Throughout the Wano arc, Yamato repeatedly expressed his desire to leave with Luffy and explore the world beyond Wano's borders. His identification with Kozuki Oden, who traveled with both Whitebeard and Roger, creates a direct parallel to joining the future Pirate King's crew. The practical arguments for Yamato are compelling. His combat strength rivals that of the crew's top fighters, and his Devil Fruit abilities would add new tactical options in battle. His knowledge of Wano's history and his connection to the ancient Kozuki clan could prove crucial in understanding the Void Century and the true history that the world government has tried to hide. However, Yamato's decision to remain in Wano at the arc's conclusion created uncertainty about his future. His choice to explore his homeland first before potentially sailing with Luffy suggests a character arc focused on understanding his identity and heritage. This delay might indicate he's not meant to be the 10th Straw Hat, or it could simply postpone his joining until a more dramatically appropriate moment. Carrot's case rests on her extended time traveling with the crew and her natural integration into their dynamic. She participated in both the Whole Cake Island and Wano arcs, fighting alongside the Straw Hats and sharing their adventures. Her relationships with crew members, particularly her mentor-like bond with Chopper, demonstrate her ability to fit into the crew's family structure. Her unique abilities as a mink warrior would diversify the crew's skill set. The Sulong transformation grants her incredible power during full moons, while her natural agility and fighting instincts make her effective even in normal form. Her Electro abilities add another element to the crew's combat options. The connection between the Mink tribe and the ancient history surrounding the Void Century also supports Carrot's candidacy. The Minks' loyalty to the Kozuki clan and their role as guardians of the road poneglyph suggests they have important knowledge about the true history. Carrot joining the crew could represent the Mink tribe's full commitment to helping Luffy reach Laugh Tale and uncover the truth. The 10th Straw Hat member debate ultimately comes down to narrative necessity and thematic completion. Each candidate offers different advantages and represents different aspects of what the crew might need for their final challenges. The choice reveals as much about what role remains unfilled in Luffy's crew as it does about the individual characters. Vivi's return would complete one of the series' longest-running emotional arcs. Her original departure was heartbreaking precisely because she clearly wanted to stay with her friends but felt obligated to her people. Recent events have freed her from those obligations while simultaneously making her a target of the same forces the Straw Hats oppose. Her return would represent the triumph of chosen family over blood obligation and personal bonds over political duty. The practical skills Vivi would bring become more relevant as the story approaches its political climax. The final conflict will involve more than just fighting. It will require diplomacy, alliance building, and understanding of how governments and kingdoms interact. Vivi's royal training and political experience make her uniquely qualified to help navigate these challenges. Her D-clan heritage adds another layer of significance. If the final conflict involves revealing the true history of the Void Century and exposing the world government's lies, having a D-clan member with royal connections could be crucial. Vivi represents the bridge between the rebels, the D-clan, and the establishment royal family, potentially serving as a symbol of unity in the New World Order. Yamato's candidacy is built on raw narrative power and thematic resonance. His explicit desire to join the crew, combined with his powerful abilities and connection to Oden's legacy, creates a compelling case. The parallel between Oden joining Roger's crew and Yamato joining Luffy's would provide perfect symmetry and demonstrate how the new generation continues the dreams of the previous one. The timing of Yamato potentially joining later in the series could actually strengthen his case. If he appears at a crucial moment when the crew needs additional strength for their final challenges, his arrival would have maximum dramatic impact. The delay caused by his decision to explore Wano first could be Oda's way of saving the revelation for the most effective moment. Yamato's knowledge of ancient history, gained through reading Oden's journal, would be invaluable in understanding the mysteries surrounding Laugh Tale and the One Piece. His first-hand knowledge of what Oden learned during his journey with Roger could provide crucial insights that help Luffy succeed where others have failed. Carrot's integration into the crew has been more gradual, but perhaps more natural than other candidates. She didn't explicitly ask to join or make dramatic declarations. She simply became part of their family through shared experiences and mutual affection. This organic development mirrors how some of the current crew members joined, particularly Chopper and Robin. Her role as a representative of the Mink tribe would fulfill the series' theme of bringing together diverse species and cultures. The Straw Hats already include humans, a reindeer, a cyborg, a skeleton, and a fishman. Adding a mink would continue this pattern of showing that friendship and loyalty transcend species boundaries. The mystery of what happened to Carrot after Wano, where she was granted a leadership role among the Minks, creates uncertainty about her availability. Like Yamato, she might need to fulfill other obligations before being free to join the crew permanently. However, her expressed desire for adventure and her bonds with the Straw Hats suggest she won't be content with a purely administrative role. The identity of the 10th Straw Hat member would have immediate implications for how the crew approaches their final challenges. Each candidate would bring different strengths, perspectives, and connections that would influence their strategy in the coming conflicts with the world government and other emperors. If Vivi rejoins, the crew gains a diplomat and strategist whose political knowledge could be crucial in building the alliances needed for the final war. Her presence would also provide emotional motivation for confronting the world government, as her family's suffering at their hands gives the conflict personal stakes for the entire crew. Yamato's addition would significantly increase the crew's raw combat power, potentially making them the strongest pirate crew in the world. His knowledge of ancient history could also accelerate their progress toward understanding the mysteries of the Void Century and locating the One Piece. Carrot's membership would strengthen the crew's connections to the animal kingdom and the natural world. Her mink abilities would provide unique tactical options, while her relationship with the Kazuki clan could maintain important ties to Wano and its historical significance. The crew dynamics would shift with any new addition, as existing members adjust to accommodate new personalities and abilities. The integration process would provide opportunities for character development and relationship building that could strengthen the crew's bonds before their ultimate challenges. The world's reaction to the 10th member joining would depend on their identity and significance. Vivi's return would send a message about the world government's failures and the power of personal bonds. Yamato's joining would demonstrate the new generation surpassing the old. Carrot's membership would show the expansion of the crew's influence beyond human communities. The choice of the 10th Straw Hat member would influence the series' conclusion and the legacy of Luffy's crew. This decision represents more than just adding another fighter or friend. It determines what final element completes the crew that will discover the One Piece and potentially reshape the world. The thematic implications of each choice reflect different aspects of the series' core messages. Vivi's return emphasizes that true friendship overcomes all obstacles and that chosen family matters more than biological or political obligations. Yamato's joining would demonstrate how each generation builds upon the achievements of those before them. Carrot's membership would show that bonds formed through shared adventure are stronger than traditional tribal or species loyalties. The practical impact on the series' conclusion would vary significantly between candidates. Vivi's political knowledge could be crucial in establishing a new world order after defeating the world government. Yamato's strength and historical knowledge could be vital in the actual battles and mysteries leading to that conclusion. Carrot's unique abilities and tribal connections could provide unexpected advantages in situations where conventional strength isn't enough. The fan community's reaction would be intense regardless of the choice, as each candidate has passionate supporters who have invested years in their preferred theory. The selection would validate one group's analysis while disappointing others, potentially influencing how the series' conclusion is received by different segments of the fanbase. From a storytelling perspective, the 10th member completes Luffy's crew and fulfills his early promise about gathering at least 10 people. This achievement would mark a significant milestone in his journey toward becoming Pirate King and demonstrate his growth from a naive young pirate to a leader capable of inspiring others to follow their dream. The chosen character's individual story arc would also reach its conclusion through joining the crew. Whether it's Vivi finding her true family, Yamato achieving his dream of adventure, or Carrot discovering the wider world, their membership would represent the fulfillment of personal goals alongside their contribution to Luffy's dream. The 10th Straw Hat member theory centers on who will complete Luffy's crew after Jinbei officially became the 9th member, with the main candidates being Princess Nefertari, Vivi, Yamato, and Carrot, each offering unique advantages for the final saga. Vivi's case is strengthened by her revealed D-clan heritage, her liberation from royal duties due to recent Reverie events, her established bonds with the crew, and her diplomatic skills that would be crucial for the coming political conflicts with the world government. Yamato argued strongly for joining during Wano, possesses immense combat strength and historical knowledge from Oden's journal, but chose to explore Wano first, potentially delaying his joining until a more dramatically appropriate moment. Carrot has naturally integrated with the crew over 2 major arcs, represents the diverse species theme as a mink warrior with unique Sulong abilities, but was given leadership responsibilities in Zao that might conflict with adventure. The choice ultimately depends on what final element Luffy's crew needs: political expertise for world-changing diplomacy, overwhelming strength for ultimate battles, or continued diversity and connection to ancient tribal knowledge. SI. With each candidate representing different aspects of One Piece's core themes about friendship, transcending duty, inherited will across generations, or bonds formed through shared adventure, making this decision crucial, not just for crew completion, but for determining how the series will approach its climactic conflicts and ultimate resolution. Before we move on, make sure to subscribe if you're enjoying this breakdown. Moving on to Straw Hat Grand Fleet expansion theory. The Straw Hat Grand Fleet's current roster of 7 crews and 5,640 members represents just the beginning of what could become the largest pirate alliance in history. The Grand Fleet expansion theory proposes that major characters and powerful crews will join Luffy's growing alliance before the final war, including Trafalgar Law's Heart Pirates, Charlotte Katakuri leading reformed Big Mom Pirates remnants, Marco representing the remaining Whitebeard Pirates, the 9 Red Scabbards, and Samurai of Wano Country, and potentially other significant figures who recognize Luffy as the key to changing the world. The foundation for this expansion theory lies in the narrator's ominous declaration at the end of Dressrosa that the Straw Hat Grand Fleet would eventually cause a historical incident of such magnitude that it will shock the world. This statement implies that the current 7 crews are insufficient for whatever massive event is coming, suggesting that more powerful allies will join before that prophetic moment arrives. The timing of potential expansion aligns perfectly with the series entering its final saga. As Luffy approaches his ultimate goals of finding the One Piece and potentially confronting the world government, he will need unprecedented levels of support. The current Grand Fleet, while impressive in numbers, lacks the individual powerhouse crews needed to challenge entities like the remaining Emperors, the full Marine Force, and whatever ancient weapons the world government might deploy. Each proposed addition to the Grand Fleet represents crews or individuals who have been liberated from previous obligations, allowing them to freely choose their allegiances. The Heart Pirates are no longer bound by their alliance with the Kid and Straw Hat Pirates after Wano. Former Big Mom Pirates lack clear leadership after their captain's defeat. The Whitebeard Pirates' remnants have been searching for direction since Marineford. Wano's samurai are free from Kaido's oppression and deeply indebted to Luffy for their liberation. The pattern of how the original Grand Fleet formed provides insight into how expansion might occur. None of the original 7 crews were forced to join. They voluntarily pledged their loyalty after witnessing Luffy's character and being inspired by his actions. This same organic process could attract other powerful groups who come to understand that Luffy represents something greater than typical piracy. The practical benefits of expansion are obvious. More ships mean greater territorial coverage and faster response times. More diverse crews bring varied skills, knowledge, and connections across different regions of the Grand Line. More powerful individual members increase the fleet's ability to handle multiple simultaneous threats during the chaotic final conflicts. The emotional and symbolic significance of expansion extends beyond mere numbers. Each new addition would represent another group choosing to believe in Luffy's vision of the future. The diversity of backgrounds, enemies, from reformed enemies to former rivals to liberated allies, would demonstrate the universal appeal of his philosophy and the growing momentum behind his cause. The case for the Heart Pirates joining the Grand Fleet has strengthened considerably since the conclusion of Wano. Trafalgar Law's alliance with Luffy began as a business arrangement aimed at defeating Kaido, but their partnership evolved into genuine mutual respect and friendship. Law's crew has fought alongside the Straw Hats in multiple major battles, forming bonds that extend beyond their captain's strategic considerations. Law himself has undergone character development that makes Grand Fleet membership more likely. His initial cynical approach to piracy has been tempered by witnessing Luffy's pure motivations and the positive changes that follow in his wake. Law's own dream of learning the true meaning of the D in his name aligns with mysteries that Luffy is uniquely positioned to uncover as he approaches Laugh Tale. The practical advantages of the Heart Pirates joining are significant. Law's tactical genius and medical knowledge complement Luffy's intuitive leadership style. The crew's submarine provides unique capabilities for underwater operations and stealth missions. Law's established reputation as one of the worst generation's most dangerous members would add credibility to the Grand Fleet among other pirate crews. Recent developments have freed Law from competing obligations while simultaneously making him more vulnerable to retaliation from other emperors. His role in defeating Big Mom has made him a target, while the end of his Wano alliance leaves him without the protection of stronger allies. Joining the Grand Fleet would provide security while allowing him to continue pursuing his goals. Charlotte Katakuri's potential membership represents one of the theory's most compelling scenarios. As Big Mom's strongest child and most capable leader, Katakuri demonstrated honor, integrity, and respect for worthy opponents during his fight with Luffy. His character development showed someone capable of recognizing strength and nobility even in enemies, suggesting he might choose to follow rather than oppose someone he considers superior. The collapse of the Big Mom Pirates' power structure after their captain's defeat creates a leadership vacuum that Katakuri is uniquely positioned to fill. Rather than attempting to maintain his mother's brutal empire, he could choose to lead willing followers toward a more honorable path under Luffy's guidance. This would represent the ultimate redemption for a crew that terrorized the New World through fear and violence. Katakuri's abilities would make him one of the Grand Fleet's most valuable assets. His advanced observation haki, powerful Devil Fruit abilities, and tactical intelligence rival those of Emperor-level fighters. His addition would significantly increase the fleet's combat capabilities while providing experienced leadership for other crews during large-scale operations. Marco the Phoenix represents the living link between the old and new generations of pirates. As Whitebeard's former first mate and one of the few remaining connections to the previous era's greatest crew, his endorsement of Luffy would carry enormous symbolic weight throughout the pirate world. His decision to join would signal that even Whitebeard's legacy supports the new generation's rise. The Whitebeard pirates' remnants have been scattered and directionless since their captain's death and their defeat during the payback war against Blackbeard. Marco's leadership could reunite willing members under the Grand Fleet banner, bringing decades of experience and established territorial connections to Luffy's alliance. Marco's personal abilities make him invaluable for the coming conflicts. His Phoenix Devil Fruit provides unmatched healing capabilities that could save countless lives during the final war. His flight abilities offer reconnaissance and rapid response options unavailable to other crew members. His experience fighting at Emperor level ensures he can handle the strongest opponents. The 9 Red Scabbards and Wano Samurai represent a potential addition with profound historical significance. These warriors have spent decades preparing for the moment when they could fight for their homeland's freedom. Their successful liberation of Wano under Luffy's leadership creates a debt of honor that traditional samurai culture takes extremely seriously. Wano's isolation has ended with Kaido's defeat, opening the borders that were closed for centuries. The samurai's legendary skills and unwavering loyalty would add a disciplined military element to the Grand Fleet's more chaotic pirate crews. Their knowledge of advanced swordsmanship techniques and traditional warfare could prove crucial in battles against the world government's forces. The symbolic importance of Wano joining the Grand Fleet extends beyond military considerations. As the birthplace of the Kozuki clan and the location where important poneglyphs were created, Wano represents a connection to the ancient history surrounding the Void Century. The samurai's participation would demonstrate that even the most traditional and isolated cultures recognize Luffy as the key to uncovering the truth. The Grand Fleet expansion would likely occur through a series of dramatic moments where potential new members witness Luffy's character and decide to pledge their loyalty. Unlike the original formation at Dressrosa, where crews joined primarily out of gratitude, future additions would be motivated by recognition of Luffy's role in the approaching climactic conflicts. The Heart Pirates' official joining could happen when Law faces a situation that threatens his crew's survival and Luffy intervenes without being asked. This would demonstrate the kind of unconditional support that the Grand Fleet provides, convincing Law that formal alliance offers benefits beyond mere convenience. The moment could also involve Law finally learning crucial information about his D heritage through Luffy's connections to ancient mysteries. Law's tactical mind would immediately begin planning how to integrate his crew's capabilities with the existing Grand Fleet structure. The Polar Tang's submarine capabilities could coordinate with the fleet's surface vessels to create unprecedented three-dimensional naval tactics. Law's medical expertise could establish field hospitals during major battles, saving lives that would otherwise be lost. The integration process would also provide character development opportunities, as Law learns to balance his calculating nature with the Grand Fleet's more emotional approach to loyalty. His crew members would form friendships with other fleet members, creating bonds that extend beyond their captain's strategic decisions. Katakuri's recruitment would require a more dramatic approach, likely involving a crisis where Luffy protects Katakuri's siblings or territory without expecting anything in return. This act of selfless heroism would demonstrate the fundamental difference between Luffy's leadership and Big Mom's tyranny, convincing Katakuri that his family would be safer and happier under new management. The process of reforming willing Big Mom Pirates members into a new crew structure would showcase Katakuri's leadership abilities and moral compass. Rather than ruling through fear like his mother, he would lead through respect and genuine care for his followers. This transformation would make his crew one of the Grand Fleet's most disciplined and effective units. Katakuri's addition would also create interesting dynamics with other Grand Fleet members who have faced the Big Mom Pirates in battle. His presence would demonstrate that former enemies can become trusted allies, reinforcing the Grand Fleet's message of redemption and second chances. Marco's recruitment might occur when he needs support, protecting something important to Whitebeard's memory, and the Grand Fleet provides that support without being asked. This gesture would honor the relationship between Whitebeard and Luffy, showing that the new generation respects and continues the best aspects of the previous era. The reunion of surviving Whitebeard pirates under Marco's leadership within the Grand Fleet would provide emotional closure for fans who have followed these characters since Marineford. Their integration would bring experienced ship captains, navigators, and fighters who could serve as mentors for the Grand Fleet's younger members. Marco's medical abilities would complement Chopper's skills to create the most advanced medical support system any pirate fleet has ever possessed. This capability would be crucial during the extended conflicts of the final war, when treating injuries quickly could determine the outcome of entire battles. The 9 Red Scabbards joining would likely happen when the world government threatens Wano in retaliation for harboring Luffy, and the samurai choose to take the fight to their enemies rather than wait for another invasion. Their decision to leave Wano and join the Grand Fleet would represent the end of their isolationist period and their full commitment to the new era. The samurai's integration would introduce traditional military discipline and honor codes to crews more accustomed to pirate freedom and flexibility. This cultural exchange could strengthen both approaches while creating a more versatile and adaptable fleet structure. The expansion of the Grand Fleet would immediately shift the balance of power in the new world and force other major players to reconsider their strategies. The world government would face the terrifying prospect of an alliance that includes multiple former Emperor-level crews, experienced veterans from legendary crews, and the military might of entire nations. The recruitment of Law's Heart pirates would provide the Grand Fleet with submarine capabilities and advanced medical support that could change how they approach both combat and rescue operations. Law's tactical expertise would also improve their strategic planning, making them more effective in complex multi-front conflicts. Katakuri's addition would send shockwaves through the former Big Mom territories, as other children of Charlotte Linlin decide whether to follow their brother's example or pursue independent paths. The Grand Fleet would inherit established bases and supply lines throughout Tatoland, dramatically expanding their operational reach. The integration of Whitebeard pirates' remnants under Marco would reunite scattered veterans and restore one of the most respected names in piracy under new leadership. Former allies and territories of the Whitebeard pirates might also pledge support to the Grand Fleet, recognizing the continuity between old and new leadership. Wano's samurai joining would demonstrate that the Grand Fleet's influence extends beyond typical pirate crews to include traditional warriors and entire nations. This could inspire other countries oppressed by the world government to openly support Luffy's cause rather than remaining neutral. The expanded fleet would require new organizational structures and communication systems to coordinate such diverse groups effectively. The original 7 crews would need to adapt to sharing authority and resources with powerful new additions who bring their own leadership styles and operational methods. The fully expanded Grand Fleet would represent an unprecedented force in One Piece history, potentially rivaling the ancient armies that fought during the Void Century. This massive alliance would be capable of challenging the world government on equal terms, fulfilling the narrator's prophecy about causing a historical incident that shocks the world. The diversity of the expanded fleet would demonstrate that Luffy's message of freedom and friendship transcends traditional boundaries between enemies, rivals, and allies. Former Big Mom pirates working alongside Whitebeard veterans, with Heart pirates providing support and Wano samurai maintaining order, would show that cooperation is possible even between historically antagonistic groups. The psychological impact on other characters would be enormous. Seeing such powerful and respected figures choose to follow Luffy would convince wavering allies to commit fully to his cause while demoralizing enemies who recognize they face an unstoppable force. The strategic capabilities of the expanded fleet would make them nearly unbeatable in conventional naval warfare. Multiple submarine units, aerial reconnaissance from Marco, advanced medical support, traditional military discipline, and overwhelming numbers would create a force capable of conducting complex operations across the entire Grand Line simultaneously. The cultural exchange between different crew traditions could create innovations in pirate tactics, shipbuilding, navigation, and combat techniques. The Grand Fleet might become not just a military force, but a center of learning and development that influences pirate culture for generations. The expansion would also fulfill character arcs for each new member, showing how former enemies and rivals can find new purpose and happiness through choosing the right cause. This theme of redemption and second chances would reinforce One Piece's core message about the power of friendship and forgiveness. The world government's response to such a massive alliance would likely include deploying their most powerful weapons and forming desperate alliances of their own. The final conflict could become a war between the Grand Fleet, representing freedom and change, versus the world government and its allies, representing order and tradition. The Straw Hat Grand Fleet expansion theory proposes that the current 7 crews are just the beginning of a massive alliance that will include major characters like Trafalgar Law's Heart Pirates, freed from previous alliances, and bound by genuine friendship. Charlotte Katakuri, leading reformed Big Mom Pirates remnants, choosing honor over his mother's brutal legacy. Marco uniting, surviving Whitebeard pirates, bridging old and new generations, and the 9 Red Scabbards representing Wano's samurai, ending isolationism to fight for global freedom. This expansion is supported by the narrator's prophecy about a future historical incident, the liberation of potential members from previous obligations, established relationships, and mutual respect between Luffy and these figures, and the practical need for greater strength in the approaching final conflicts with the world government. Each edition would bring unique capabilities, submarines and medical expertise from Law, advanced combat skills and territorial resources from Katakuri, healing abilities and veteran leadership from Marco, traditional military discipline and historical knowledge from Wano, while demonstrating the universal appeal of Luffy's philosophy that former enemies can become trusted allies through shared ideals of freedom and friendship. The fully expanded Grand Fleet would represent an unprecedented force capable of challenging the world government on equal terms, fulfilling the series' themes about cooperation, transcending traditional boundaries, and the new generation surpassing the old through unity rather than conquest, ultimately creating the historical incident that changes the world forever by proving that hope and friendship can overcome any system of oppression. Before we move on, make sure to subscribe if you're enjoying this breakdown. Moving on, we have Red Hair Pirates' Hidden Power Theory. The Red Hair Pirates stand as the most mysterious and potentially powerful Emperor crew in One Piece, distinguished by their apparent policy of having no Devil Fruit users, while somehow maintaining their position among the world's strongest pirates. The Hidden Power Theory suggests that Shanks and his crew have mastered advanced Haki techniques beyond anything else seen in the series, developed unique combat abilities that don't rely on supernatural powers, and possibly possess ancient knowledge or training methods that make them capable of competing with and even surpassing Devil Fruit users through pure skill and willpower alone. The Red Hair Pirates' approach to power represents a complete contradiction to the typical pirate philosophy in the One Piece world. While most powerful pirates rely on Devil Fruit abilities to gain supernatural advantages, Shanks and his crew have deliberately chosen a path that emphasizes natural human potential pushed to its absolute limits. This decision becomes more remarkable when considering that they operate in the New World, where Devil Fruit users are common and often necessary for survival. The crew's reputation speaks to the effectiveness of their chosen approach. Marine Commodore Branu specifically noted that the Red Hair Pirates are the most balanced and impregnable crew among all Emperor forces, with the highest average bounty per member. This assessment suggests that every single crew member, not just the captain, represents an elite-level threat capable of matching opponents who possess supernatural abilities. The strategic implications of their no Devil Fruit policy extend beyond simple combat considerations. Devil Fruit users face specific vulnerabilities, including weakness to Sea Stone, inability to swim, and potential power negation from certain abilities like Blackbeard's Yami Yami no Mi. By avoiding these supernatural powers entirely, the Red Hair Pirates remain immune to such counters, while maintaining full mobility in all environments. Historical precedents exist for incredibly powerful non-Devil Fruit users. Goal D. Roger conquered the Grand Line and became Pirate King without any confirmed Devil Fruit abilities, relying instead on his mastery of Haki and exceptional swordsmanship. Silver's Rayleigh demonstrated during his fight with Admiral Kizaru that pure Haki mastery could compete with even Logia-type Devil Fruits. Monkey D. Garp earned the title Hero of the Marines and fought on equal terms with Roger, using only his physical abilities enhanced by Haki. The Red Hair Pirates' individual members have shown glimpses of their extraordinary abilities in brief appearances throughout the series. Ben Beckman's mere presence and pointed gun was enough to make Admiral Kizaru pause during the Marineford War, suggesting his threat-level rivals, that of the Navy's strongest fighters. Lucky Roo demonstrated incredible speed despite his large size, appearing behind enemies without being detected. Yasopp's reputation as a master sniper implies accuracy and power that surpass even other expert marksmen. The crew's overall philosophy seems focused on perfecting fundamental skills rather than seeking shortcuts through supernatural abilities. This approach requires incredible dedication, training, and natural talent, but it also creates versatility and adaptability that Devil Fruit users often lack. A master swordsman can use any blade, while a Devil Fruit user is limited to their specific power set. The advanced Haki theory gains credibility from analyzing Shanks' demonstrated abilities and the reactions they provoke from other powerful characters. His recent display of Conqueror's Haki was so powerful that it physically manifested as a visible phenomenon, damaged surrounding objects, and was felt across vast distances. This level of Haki mastery suggests techniques and applications that haven't been fully explained or understood. Shanks' ability to use observation Haki to see the future has been hinted at through his actions and decisions. His intervention at Marineford came at precisely the right moment to prevent further bloodshed, suggesting he knew exactly when and how to arrive for maximum impact. His warning to Whitebeard about Blackbeard demonstrated knowledge of threats that weren't immediately apparent to others. The Killer of Observation Haki nickname attributed to Shanks implies an ability that specifically counters one of the three main Haki types. This could involve techniques that disrupt or overwhelm opponents' ability to predict attacks, sense presences, or read emotions and intentions. Such an ability would be incredibly valuable against opponents who rely heavily on precognitive abilities. Individual crew members have displayed hints of extraordinary Haki mastery in their limited appearances. Ben Beckman's intelligence is noted as one of the highest in the series, and his calm confidence in threatening an admiral suggests he possesses the power to back up such bold actions. His role as first mate of an Emperor crew implies combat abilities that rival the strongest characters in the series. Lucky Roo's speed and stealth capabilities, despite his large physical frame, suggest mastery of techniques that enhance physical abilities beyond normal human limits. His ability to appear behind enemies undetected indicates either advanced observation Haki used for stealth purposes or physical enhancement techniques that allow impossible movements. Yasopp's reputation as one of the world's greatest snipers implies not just exceptional marksmanship but also advanced observation Haki that allows him to hit targets at impossible ranges and under difficult conditions. His ability to shoot accurately while aboard a moving ship in rough seas requires sensory abilities that border on supernatural. The crew's coordination and teamwork during their brief appearances suggest a level of tactical communication and battlefield awareness that goes beyond normal crew cooperation. They move and act as a perfectly synchronized unit, implying either telepathic-level communication through advanced Haki or training so intense that they can predict each other's actions instinctively. The theory extends to suggest that the Red Hair Pirates have developed unique applications of Haki that haven't been seen from other users. While most pirates learn the basic 3 types of Haki, Shanks' crew might have discovered advanced techniques or combinations that create entirely new capabilities. These could include projecting Haki over vast distances, using Conqueror's Haki for more than just intimidation, or combining different Haki types for amplified effects. The crew's approach to combat likely involves maximizing efficiency and minimizing wasted motion. Without the flashy displays typical of Devil Fruit abilities, their fighting style would focus on precision, timing, and overwhelming force applied at exactly the right moment. This philosophy creates fighters who are incredibly dangerous, despite appearing deceptively simple in their methods. The Red Hair Pirate's hidden power likely revolves around Shanks having achieved a level of Haki mastery that transcends normal understanding of these abilities. His recent demonstrations suggest he can manipulate Conqueror's Haki with precision that allows for selective targeting, environmental manipulation, and effects that influence the physical world beyond simple intimidation. The advanced Conqueror's Haki theory proposes that Shanks can use this ability not just to knock out weak-willed opponents, but to actively interfere with other people's Devil Fruit powers, disrupt their concentration, and even influence their decision-making processes. This would explain how a crew without supernatural abilities can compete with Emperor-level Devil Fruit users who possess world-destroying capabilities. Shanks' mastery might extend to combining all three types of Haki simultaneously in ways that create synergistic effects. Observation Haki, enhanced by Conqueror's Haki, could provide awareness that extends across entire islands. Armament Haki, infused with Conqueror's Haki, could create attacks that bypass normal defenses and strike directly at opponents' will to fight. The crew's collective Haki abilities might work together to create area-wide effects that transform entire battlefields to their advantage. Multiple users projecting coordinated Haki could create zones where Devil Fruit abilities are suppressed, observation is impossible, or physical laws operate differently. This would turn their ship and surrounding area into a domain where normal pirates are at severe disadvantages. Ben Beckman's role as first mate likely involves tactical coordination of the crew's combined abilities. His high intelligence would allow him to calculate optimal positioning and timing for maximum effect when the crew uses their powers together. His own combat abilities probably involve precision techniques that can disable opponents without flashy displays of power. The Sniper Division, led by Yasopp, might have developed Haki-enhanced marksmanship that allows bullets to curve around obstacles, penetrate any defense, or strike opponents across impossible distances. Their coordination could enable simultaneous shots from multiple positions that create inescapable attack patterns. Lucky Roo and other close combat specialists likely use Haki enhancement to achieve speed and strength that matches or exceeds Devil Fruit users' capabilities. Their techniques might involve precise Haki application that maximizes force while minimizing energy expenditure, allowing them to maintain peak performance throughout extended battles. The crew's training methods probably involve extreme conditioning that pushes human physical and mental limits far beyond what most people consider possible. This training would be necessary to develop the Haki mastery required to compete with supernatural abilities using only natural human potential. Their combat philosophy likely emphasizes ending fights quickly and efficiently, rather than engaging in prolonged battles. With their advanced Haki abilities, they can probably assess opponents' strengths and weaknesses instantly, then apply exactly the right amount and type of force needed for immediate victory. The crew's mysterious aura and the respect they command from other powerful pirates suggest they possess knowledge or abilities that aren't widely understood. This could include ancient techniques passed down from previous generations, training methods developed during their time with the Roger Pirates, or discoveries made during their own adventures that haven't been shared with others. The confirmation of the Red Hair Pirates' advanced Haki mastery would immediately establish them as the most technically skilled crew in the One Piece world. Their approach would demonstrate that natural human potential, when properly developed, can surpass even the most powerful supernatural abilities. This revelation would inspire other non-Devil Fruit users to pursue similar training while making Devil Fruit users reconsider their reliance on supernatural powers. The strategic implications would be enormous for the final conflicts of the series. A crew capable of neutralizing Devil Fruit abilities through pure Haki mastery would be invaluable in battles against opponents like Blackbeard, whose multiple Devil Fruit powers make him seem unstoppable. The Red Hair Pirates could serve as the perfect counter to supernatural threats that conventional forces cannot handle. Other pirate crews would need to reassess their training priorities and combat strategies. The knowledge that elite-level power is achievable without Devil Fruits would encourage more intensive Haki training across the pirate world. This could lead to a general increase in the baseline power level of non-Devil Fruit users. The world government and Marines would face the unsettling realization that their most dangerous opponents might not be the flashy Devil Fruit users they typically focus on, but the quietly powerful individuals who have mastered fundamental abilities to impossible degrees. This could shift their recruitment and training priorities toward developing similar capabilities. The revelation would also impact how fans understand power scaling in the One Piece world. Characters who were previously considered weaker due to lack of Devil Fruit abilities might be reassessed as potentially more dangerous than originally thought. The emphasis would shift from supernatural powers to skill mastery and training dedication. The Red Hair Pirate's approach to power would establish a new paradigm for strength in the One Piece world that emphasizes earned abilities over inherited or granted powers. This philosophy aligns perfectly with the series' themes about hard work, determination, and the potential for anyone to achieve greatness through sufficient effort and dedication. Their influence on the final war would likely involve serving as teachers and inspirers for other characters who need to maximize their natural abilities to compete with increasingly powerful supernatural threats. Luffy's crew, in particular, could benefit from learning advanced haki techniques that don't rely on Devil Fruit powers. The cultural impact would extend beyond just combat applications. The Red Hair Pirate's success would demonstrate that traditional training methods and human potential shouldn't be abandoned in favor of seeking supernatural shortcuts. This could influence how future pirates approach their development and what they prioritize in their pursuit of strength. The scientific implications within the One Piece world would be significant. Understanding how the Red Hair Pirates achieve such incredible abilities without Devil Fruits could lead to new training methodologies and techniques that enhance human capabilities. This knowledge could benefit not just pirates, but anyone seeking to maximize their potential. The thematic resonance with One Piece's core messages would be perfect. The series consistently emphasizes that dreams, friendship, and determination can overcome any obstacle. A crew that achieves Emperor-level status through pure human potential would embody these themes more completely than any Devil Fruit user ever could. Future story developments would likely explore the origins of their training methods and knowledge. Whether they learned these techniques from the Roger Pirates, discovered them independently, or inherited them from even older sources, could provide important insights into the history of haki and human potential in the One Piece world. The legacy of their approach would influence how the new generation of pirates develops their abilities. Characters like Luffy, who already possess Devil Fruit powers, might learn to enhance their natural abilities to complement their supernatural ones, creating a more balanced and versatile fighting style. The Red Hair Pirate's hidden power theory proposes that Shanks and his crew have achieved Emperor-level status without any Devil Fruit users, by mastering advanced haki techniques beyond anything seen elsewhere in the series, developing unique applications that can compete with and potentially surpass supernatural abilities through pure skill and willpower. Evidence includes their reputation as the most balanced and impregnable Emperor crew with the highest average bounties, Shanks' demonstrated ability to project Conqueror's haki across vast distances with physical effects, Ben Beckman intimidating an admiral with just his presence, and their collective ability to end the Marineford War simply by arriving. The theory suggests they can use combined haki techniques to create battlefield effects that suppress Devil Fruit abilities, enhance their physical capabilities to superhuman levels, and coordinate attacks with precision impossible for normal crews. Their no Devil Fruit policy eliminates common weaknesses like Sea Stone vulnerability while maximizing adaptability and fundamental skill mastery. Following the precedent of Gol D. Roger, who became Pirate King without confirmed supernatural powers. This approach demonstrates that human potential, when properly developed through extreme training and dedication, can surpass even the most powerful Devil Fruits, embodying One Piece's core themes about earned strength through hard work rather than inherited or granted abilities, while potentially serving as crucial allies in final conflicts against opponents whose multiple Devil Fruit powers seem unstoppable through conventional means. Before we move on, make sure to subscribe if you're enjoying this breakdown. Moving on to Shanks' true motives theory. Despite being Luffy's inspiration and seemingly benevolent mentor figure, growing evidence suggests that Shanks may harbor hidden agendas that complicate his role as a pure ally. The true motives theory proposes that Shanks maintains secret connections to the world government, operates according to a complex long-term plan that may not align with Luffy's best interests, and potentially serves as a double agent working to maintain balance in the world rather than supporting complete revolutionary change, making him one of the most morally ambiguous characters in the series. Despite his friendly exterior, Shanks' relationship with Luffy began the entire One Piece story, establishing him as the inspiring figure who gave the protagonist his signature straw hat and dream of becoming a pirate. This foundational role has led most fans to view Shanks as unquestionably supportive of Luffy's journey. However, closer examination of his actions throughout the series reveals a pattern of behavior that suggests more complex motivations than simple mentorship and friendship. The first major hint of Shanks's ambiguous nature appeared during his mysterious meeting with the Five Elders, the world government's highest authority figures. This scene shocked readers because it showed an Emperor of the Sea having cordial discussions with the people who theoretically represent everything pirates oppose. The casual nature of their interaction suggested an established relationship rather than a one-time negotiation. During this meeting, Shanks spoke about a certain pirate he wanted to discuss, though the identity wasn't revealed to readers. The timing of this conversation, occurring after major events involving Luffy and other Worst Generation members, strongly suggests that Shanks was providing information about or influencing government policy regarding these rising pirates. The question remains whether he was protecting them or manipulating events for other purposes. Shanks's intervention at Marineford provides another example of his complex motivations. While his arrival ended the war and saved countless lives, his timing was suspiciously perfect. He appeared exactly when his presence would have maximum impact, suggesting either incredible foresight or advanced knowledge of how events would unfold. His ability to negotiate with both Marines and pirates implies connections and influence that extend far beyond typical pirate authority. The revelation that Shanks is connected to the God Valley incident through his origins as Figarland Garling's son adds another layer of complexity to his background. As a member of the Figarland family, which includes high-ranking world government officials and Knights of God, Shanks has bloodline connections to the very power structure that most pirates oppose. This heritage raises questions about where his true loyalties lie. His possession of the Gomu Gomu no Mi, later revealed to be the mythical human-human fruit model, Nika, creates the biggest question mark around his motivations. The fruit was being transported by the world government when Shanks stole it, suggesting he either knew its true significance or was acting on behalf of unknown parties. The fact that Luffy ate this specific fruit by accident during Shanks' stay in Fuchsia Village seems too convenient to be coincidental. The theory that Shanks operates as a government agent or double agent gains strength from analyzing his pattern of interventions throughout the series. Each time he appears publicly, his actions serve to maintain or restore balance rather than push for revolutionary change. This suggests a philosophy focused on stability rather than the complete transformation that Luffy's journey seems destined to create. His prevention of Kaido from reaching Marineford demonstrates this balance-seeking behavior. While officially explained as stopping Kaido from interfering in the war, Shanks' action also prevented a scenario that could have resulted in massive casualties and unpredictable outcomes. By keeping Kaido away, he ensured that the Marineford conflict remained contained and manageable. The timing of when Shanks chooses to act versus when he remains passive reveals a pattern that supports the government agent theory. He intervenes when situations threaten to spiral completely out of control, but remains absent during events that serve his apparent agenda of controlled change. This selective involvement suggests careful planning rather than spontaneous heroism. His relationship with other emperors also hints at hidden agendas. Unlike the open hostility between other emperor crews, Shanks seems to maintain neutral or even cooperative relationships with various powerful figures. His ability to arrange meetings and negotiate truces implies diplomatic connections that transcend normal pirate rivalries. The government connection theory is strengthened by examining what information Shanks possesses and when he acquired it. His knowledge of the true nature of Luffy's devil fruit, his awareness of coming conflicts, and his ability to position himself advantageously all suggest access to intelligence networks that extend far beyond what a typical pirate crew could maintain. Evidence from his crew's behavior also supports the theory. The Red Hair Pirates operate with discipline and coordination that resembles military units more than typical pirate crews. Their ability to appear and disappear without detection, their precise timing in various situations, and their apparent immunity from government interference all suggest official protection or cooperation. The alternative interpretation of Shanks' actions proposes that he serves as a moderating influence designed to prevent the complete collapse of existing power structures. Rather than supporting true revolution, he might be working to ensure that change occurs gradually and doesn't result in worldwide chaos. This would explain his willingness to work with government officials while still maintaining his pirate identity. His treatment of Luffy could be viewed through this lens as cultivation of a specific type of leader rather than simple mentorship. By inspiring Luffy to become a particular kind of pirate, one who makes friends rather than enemies, who protects rather than destroys, Shanks might be shaping the next generation to create change without complete destruction. The Nika fruit revelation adds another dimension to this theory. If Shanks knew the fruit's true nature when he allowed Luffy to eat it, his actions represent a calculated decision to awaken Joy Boy's successor. The question becomes whether he did this to fulfill ancient prophecies or to ensure that Joy Boy's return happens under controlled circumstances that serve his agenda. The most compelling version of the true motives theory suggests that Shanks serves as a bridge between the old world order and the new, working to ensure that the transition of power occurs without complete societal collapse. This role would require him to maintain relationships with both revolutionary forces, like Luffy, and establishment powers like the world government, making him one of the few figures capable of influencing both sides. His meeting with the Five Elders likely involved negotiations about how to handle the rising threat of the new generation of pirates. Rather than simply betraying Luffy, Shanks might have been arguing for policies that would allow young pirates to pursue their dreams without forcing the government into total war footing. This would serve both his desire to protect Luffy and his apparent goal of maintaining world stability. The timing of his decision to finally pursue the One Piece, announced after Luffy became an emperor, suggests that Shanks' long-term plan is entering its final phase. His delay in seeking the treasure might have been deliberate, waiting until conditions were optimal for whoever ultimately claims it. His entry into the race could be designed to ensure that the right person reaches Laugh Tale first, or to prevent the wrong person from obtaining that power. His possession and loss of the Nika fruit might represent the most significant aspect of his hidden agenda. If Shanks understood the fruit's true significance, allowing Luffy to eat it was a decision that would reshape the entire world. The accidental nature of Luffy's consumption could be a carefully constructed cover story for what was actually a planned transfer of incredible power. The government connection theory suggests that Shanks operates with some form of official sanction or protection that allows him to move freely between different factions. This status would make him invaluable as a mediator and information broker, while also positioning him to influence major events from behind the scenes. His crew's abilities and resources might extend far beyond what they show publicly. If they truly operate as a government-sanctioned force, they could have access to intelligence networks, advanced technology, and strategic resources that aren't available to typical pirate crews. This would explain their seemingly impossible knowledge and timing. The alternative theory proposes that Shanks serves as a fail-safe mechanism designed to prevent any single faction from gaining too much power. His interventions consistently work to maintain balance rather than allowing decisive victories by any side. This role would require him to sometimes oppose his apparent allies and support his supposed enemies when the balance tips too far in either direction. His relationship with Luffy could be the ultimate expression of this balancing act. By inspiring and guiding someone with the power to become Joy Boy, Shanks ensured that revolutionary change would come through someone with the right moral character. However, his hidden agenda might involve ensuring that this change doesn't destroy the foundations of civilization entirely. The revelation of his noble heritage through the Figerland family creates additional possibilities for his true motives. He might be working to reform the world government from within rather than destroy it completely. His unique position as both a pirate emperor and a member of a powerful government family gives him unprecedented access and influence over both sides of the conflict. If Shanks' true motives involve serving as a government agent or balance keeper, the revelation would fundamentally alter how other characters and readers understand the entire story. Luffy's inspiration and mentor figure would be revealed as someone with divided loyalties, whose actions serve a larger agenda beyond simple friendship and support. The psychological impact on Luffy would be devastating. Learning that his childhood hero and the person who inspired his dreams has been manipulating events for government purposes would challenge everything he believes about friendship, trust, and the nature of his journey. This revelation could serve as the ultimate test of Luffy's character and resolve. Other pirates who have viewed Shanks as a model of pirate freedom and independence would need to reassess their understanding of what it means to be a true pirate. The knowledge that an emperor can maintain government connections while still claiming pirate status would blur the lines between different factions in ways that could destabilize existing alliances. The world government's relationship with pirates would be exposed as more complex than public policy suggests. If they maintain secret arrangements with certain pirate crews, it would undermine their stated goal of eliminating piracy while revealing the pragmatic calculations behind their actions. The Red Hair Pirates crew members might have varying levels of knowledge about their captain's true agenda. Some might be willing participants in a government operation, while others could be unknowing pawns or genuinely loyal friends who would be as shocked as anyone by the revelation. The strategic implications for the final war would be enormous. If Shanks serves government interests, his powerful crew might not be available as allies for the revolutionary forces. Alternatively, if his true goal is balance rather than government victory, he might switch sides at crucial moments to prevent any faction from achieving total dominance. The confirmation of Shanks's hidden agenda would establish him as one of the most complex and morally ambiguous characters in One Piece. His actions would be revealed as serving a greater purpose that transcends simple good versus evil distinctions, showing that even apparent heroes can have complicated motivations that don't align with their supporters' expectations. This revelation would add unprecedented depth to the series' exploration of moral complexity and the nature of justice. Shanks would represent the idea that sometimes protecting the greater good requires actions that appear to betray individual relationships, challenging readers to consider whether his approach is ultimately right or wrong. The impact on Luffy's character development would be profound. Confronting the reality that his greatest inspiration has hidden motives would force him to mature beyond simple black and white thinking about friendship and loyalty. This could be the catalyst that transforms him from an idealistic young pirate into a wise leader capable of making difficult decisions. The thematic implications would resonate throughout the series' conclusion. One Piece has always explored themes of inherited will, the nature of dreams, and the complexity of justice. Shanks, representing someone whose inherited will, through his government connections, conflicts with his chosen path, as a pirate, would embody these themes in their most complex form. The revelation would also influence how fans understand the concept of mentorship and guidance in the series. Instead of simple support and encouragement, Shanks' relationship with Luffy would represent a more complex form of guidance that includes manipulation, calculated risks, and long-term planning that the student doesn't fully understand. Future confrontations between Shanks and Luffy would carry emotional weight that rivals any battle in the series. Their conflict would be about more than just power or territory. It would be about ideological differences, betrayed trust, and competing visions of what the world should become. The resolution of their relationship could determine the ultimate direction of the series' conclusion. Whether Luffy can forgive Shanks' deception and understand his motivations, or whether their conflict represents an unbridgeable philosophical divide, would influence how the New World Order emerges from the final conflicts. Shanks' true motives theory suggests that despite his role as Luffy's inspiration and apparent mentor, the red-haired emperor maintains secret connections to the world government and operates according to a complex agenda that prioritizes world stability over revolutionary change. Evidence includes his mysterious meeting with the Five Elders, where he discussed a certain pirate, his perfectly timed interventions that consistently maintain balance rather than support decisive victories, his possession and convenient loss of the Nika fruit to Luffy, his noble heritage as a member of the Figureland family with government connections, and his crew's military-like discipline and apparent immunity from government interference. The theory proposes that Shanks serves as a bridge between old and new world orders, working to ensure that necessary changes occur without complete societal collapse, which would explain his willingness to cooperate with government officials while maintaining his pirate identity and his pattern of protecting Luffy while potentially manipulating events for larger purposes. This hidden agenda would make him one of the most morally complex characters in the series, someone whose actions serve what he believes to be the greater good even when they appear to betray individual relationships, potentially setting up a philosophical conflict with Luffy that would test everything the protagonist believes about friendship, trust, and the nature of true freedom versus responsible leadership in a world where complete revolution might cause more harm than controlled change. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.